Tonight at 6, we are your home for the Milwaukee Bucks. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Thursday, October 17th. Your top story, the Vice President delivering remarks about a historic moment.
I'm Greg Matzik. Calls for fundamental reform for the Secret Service.
I'm Debbie Lazago. We got some delays already on 41 southbound from Appleton Avenue down to about Capitol Drive. Southbound 43 a little bit tight from Hampton down through Capitol and then again through the Marquette heading on to the high-rise bridge. Westbound 94 is backed up from 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard, and some delays on westbound 894 from 27th Street to Loomis. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be clear, not as cold, a low 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Vice President Kamala Harris says justice has been served after the main Hamas leader was killed by the Israeli military. She just spoke in Milwaukee after a rally. Harris called for the Israel-Hamas war to end.
This moment gives us an opportunity to finally end the war in Gaza. And it must end such that Israel is secure. The hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity.
Harris also says she hopes that leader's death brings a measure of relief to loved ones of the victims of the October 7th attacks.
An independent panel tasked with reviewing the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania in July says the Secret Service suffers from deep flaws. The panel says the Secret Service needs to undergo fundamental reform if it's able to carry out its mission of protecting top government officials in the United States and around the world.
The four members, including former Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security Janet Napolitano, said the Secret Service suffers from, quote, corrosive cultural attitudes and a, quote, troubling lack of critical thinking.
Without these recommended reforms, we believe another Butler can and will happen again.
The panel said the breakdowns that almost resulted in Trump's assassination revealed deep flaws in the Secret Service, including some that appear to be systemic or cultural. The panel called for new Secret Service leadership with experience outside the agency and a refocusing on its core protective mission. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
Coming up, the industry taking a hit in Hollywood.
Citing at limited WTMJ News Time is 3:04.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards scoring courtside seats for your favorite team. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can score courtside seats. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but courtside seats can be astronomical. Maybe if your team plays in a smaller market, you could swing it. Even still, it's unlikely. Maybe fourth row, which are still incredible seats that you'll enjoy greatly. Savings possible. Courtside, long shot. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Progressive cannot guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanners Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanners has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanners, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanners in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
Starting in limited WTMJ news time is 3:06.
New evidence shows TV production is taking a major hit.
Blame shows like The Kardashians and Selling Sunset.
I can't wait to sell it like a statement piece.
New data from the nonprofit group Film LA shows production levels in Hollywood were even slower over the summer than they were during last year's strikes because of a decline in reality TV shoots. They were down 5% in the third quarter compared to the same period in 2023. Worse off, scripted shows. They plummeted more than 56%. It came to a near standstill during the walkouts, but the industry had begun contracting before that. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brandon McManus in pads today for the Packers as they continue preparation for the 5-1 Houston Texans.
So, it's been a difficult time this past couple months, and I'm happy that it's in the past now. I was hoping and working hard for another opportunity, and I'm extremely grateful for the Green Bay Packers for giving me that next chance.
McManus said Wednesday the lawsuit filed by 2 flight attendants against him for assault and sexual assault has been resolved. The NFL found insufficient evidence to punish McManus as part of the league's personal conduct policy. And the Bucs wrap up the preseason tonight in Dallas against the Mavericks. Coverage gets underway at 6 o'clock here on WTMJ.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 3:08.
Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com.
Luther Gray is Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Luther, tell us about the orchestra's mission.
We provide over 135 shows a year, classical concerts, pop concerts, family and educational concerts, and also we do many performances throughout the state as well.
And James Imaging Systems provides their expertise to support the symphony.
Yes, James Imaging is there. It makes it so much easier for us, and they help keep us on schedule.
Luther, it seems that with captivating audiences with acclaimed musical performances, many would like an opportunity to get involved.
That is correct. Attending the concerts is great, giving is great, but the volunteerism is wonderful as well. We need all of that to be a successful, thriving orchestra.
What's the first step people can take to ensure that long-term success?
They can go to our website at mso.org.
That's mso.org. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Julia Fellow.
All right, Greg, thank you for being with us.
Hey,
John
how's it going?
returns. Great. John is returning on Monday. Okay, I want to start with breaking news out of Two Rivers. Going to go straight to that, to the news, where Manitowoc County District Attorney says justice will be served in the death of Elijah Vu. The child went missing in February, and his remains were recently found. Now the child's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, are charged with causing the child's death.
Elijah was a young boy whose life was tragically cut short, and his death has impacted not only his loved ones, but Two Rivers, the Two Rivers Police Department, and other agencies who have worked tirelessly on this case.
We have our WTMJ's David Scott joining us live on the Talk and Text line where he was at that news conference. David, good afternoon. What have you learned?
Good afternoon, Julia. Well, today the District Attorney Jacqueline O'Bray unveiled some new charges that were going towards Katrina and Bauer and Jesse Vang. Jesse Vang is being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child. Consequences is death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer. She actually has 2 counts of obstructing an officer involved with this case. A lot of details came out in the criminal complaint that the media were made available to the media after the conference, and there were quite a few details in there that were shocking, to say the least.
David, do you know if Jesse Vang or Katrina Bauer are speaking today, or either through the representation or on their own?
Nothing was said about whether or not they were speaking to each other during the conference specifically, but there were in the criminal complaint, it did show that they were coordinating with each other, talking back and forth when they were interviewed together. When Jesse Vang would give a statement, Katrina Bauer would often step in to correct or say something different that would be counter or to what Jesse was saying, or kind of add to what Jesse was saying. Nothing as to what they are doing as far as communication now.
We have WTMJ's David Scott on the talk and text line. He is live from Two Rivers on the phone with us. David, you did say that there were new details in the criminal complaint that were disturbing. We do know that Jesse Vang and Katrina Bauer, Elijah Vu's mother and the mother's boyfriend, they're already behind bars, and bond was revoked. So they were charged with child neglect, and now this is causing the child's death. So is there anything new in there that you learned that you said that you found disturbing?
Well, there was just outlining from both Katrina and Jesse's own statements made to the police and from statements of witnesses. There's just highlighted a long history of neglect and abuse on the part of Jesse Vang, and neglect, and that the mother, Katrina Bauer, was aware of certain things. Often, it was outlined in the complaint often that Elijah would be sent to Vang's house for punishment, often standing for hours at a time without being able to sit down, threatened with, cold water showers, things like that, and text back and forth between Vang and Bauer outlining, hey, sending pictures, sending updates on these punishments as they would go on. Lots of details like that. There's also details on the crime scene. Mr. Vang's Nissan was found observed by witnesses around the area where Elijah was found, as well as injuries on Elijah's body afterwards, fractures that had healed up. The cause of death was also released, which was determined to be homicide without a specific cause.
All right, David Scott, WTMJ, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And coming up next, thank you. We're going to talk about the top Hamas leader killed. Jordana Miller joins us live from Jerusalem next.
Mavericks owner Mark Cuban has made some solid investments, but this Sharks miss has come back to bite him.
When Giannis was getting drafted, that's when you passed. That's when we passed.
Giannis going down the lane. Look out below. A big one hand. To Giannis. Giannis down the lane, and he will plunge it through with a right-hand slam.
It's the Bucks and the Mavericks in the preseason finale. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here. I love Otto's Wine and Spirits. It makes me smile. Served in Milwaukee since 1945. It's where I buy my wine. It's where I buy my beer. It's where I buy my spirits. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits, employee-owned, friendly staff, 7 locations. They know what they're doing. They've got the best prices at Otto's. They've got the best selection. Open 7 days a week with several locations. Milwaukee, Menominee Falls, which is where I go. Elm Grove, Brown Deer, Cedarburg. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits. They are the real deal. Buy it at Otto's.
When you need to sell quickly, choose Grandview to buy your home. Don't worry about real estate agents or showings. We'll buy your home as is, no repairs or clean-outs needed, and you'll get an offer in hours. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without any major changes to your diet or lifestyle.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
3:15, traffic and then weather. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Well, not too horribly bad. We do have a little bit of an issue northbound on the bypass, right past Greenfield Avenue. We had a vehicle that was pulled over to the right. They did have the right lane blocked for a little bit, but it looks to me like it's open now, right at Greenfield Avenue. So just watch out for that. We got eastbound 94 looking okay. Slowing from just east of the stadium interchange towards 35th. The westbound side is slowing down from 25th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard, and then on southbound 41. A heavy ride from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast as I refresh. All right, this is a fresh one for you. Tonight is going to be clear, not as cold, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68. Saturday, sunny and warm, a high of 71. Sunday, pick day, sunny and warm, a high of 74. Brian Isnansky says it could reach into the high 70s possibly. Monday, partly cloudy and warm, a high of 72 degrees. 3:17 on WTMJ, hoping that you are having a great day. Vice President Kamala Harris was here at a campaign event in Milwaukee, but then she quickly shifted, going to a news conference to talk about her support for Israel because we've just learned that the top Hamas leader was killed by Israeli forces in Gaza. Here she is.
And I commend their work. And I will say to any terrorist who kills Americans, threatens the American people, or threatens our troops or our interests, know this: we will always bring you to justice. Israel has a right to defend itself, and the threat Hamas poses to Israel must be eliminated.
We're going to go right to ABC News correspondent Jordana Miller in Jerusalem. Jordana, what have you learned about what Israeli forces did just right before this happened?
Well, the Israeli army spokesman, Daniel Hagari, has given his first briefing, and he says that the Israeli soldiers, a combat unit, saw three, what they assumed were three Hamas terrorists moving between buildings in the Rafah area, and they fired on this group of three. Yahya Sinwar apparently split off from one of the groups and went into a building, and they fired on this building, and they sent a drone in to the building, and they were able to identify what they thought was Sinwar sitting in a chair. Actually, the footage was just released. It's pretty incredible footage because it captures just the last few minutes of his life. They saw him in this chair, and for the first time they realized that he was injured. Part of his arm was amputated, and they continued to fire on the building and kill him. Now, the soldiers who were engaged in this intense battle at the time did not know that this was Yahya Sinwar. They just thought it was, another group of Hamas terrorists that were above ground moving between buildings, right? Sinwar was believed to be underground and surrounded by hostages. But in this case, it turns out he was with two other Hamas militants. Maybe he was moving locations, and that's why he was above ground. It happened yesterday evening, and a different unit went into this building and found the bodies, and then they started the identification process. So after all of the intelligence and special forces that had trained for a potential raid on Sinwar, he was actually killed in a routine fight by combat reserve soldiers, not special forces, not young 19-year-olds, but reservists who'd left their lives to spend months fighting in Gaza. Those were the soldiers who.
Jordana, is this latest development, is it a help or a hindrance into resolving the conflict in Gaza?
I think we might have lost her. But Jordana Miller, she's in Jerusalem. Thank you so much. That was incredible details.
It's an incredible story here. The Pentagon earlier this afternoon commented on the death today of Sinwar after Israeli officials confirmed that he was killed during an Israeli Defense Force military operation in southern Gaza. What happens next, I think, is a major question here. Is there an opening now to resolving the conflict, or does this drum up some more bombing back and forth?
And that's exactly what Vice President Kamala Harris was talking about in the news conference here in Milwaukee after her campaign event that she held at UW Milwaukee. She said that she hoped this marks the end of the war. Take a listen.
It must end such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
So much more to this story, of course. It's probably not over, but interesting that there is, as she said, an incredible video of the actual bombing where he was killed. It's 3:21 on WTMJ.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Kohler Services and Gadish Foundation. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies to make your trip successful. Like a free $10 Blaine's gift card when you buy a Sport Dog 500-yard remote trainer, only $149.99. Hit the road with the Blaine's brand Gold Automotive battery, starting at $114.99. And select Schumacher multi-amp battery chargers, just $59.99. Gear up and save on the hunting supplies you need at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Is your shower or tub looking like it could use an update and it looks pretty bad? Well, WTMJ and Sidex, they paired together to give away a tub or shower conversion. It's your chance to get a full makeover, valued up to $10,000. So here's what you need to do. Take a photo of your shower or tub space, then text CREEPY to the WTMJ Talk and Text line, CREEPY to 855-616-1620. Submit your photo, and you could win a full conversion from our friends at Sidex. From Sidex. For full contest rules, visit our website, WTMJ.com. And also, if your tub or shower is not creepy, that's okay too. Just send it to us. Good luck.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interests in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a Realtor.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Wisconsin families are getting crushed today. We're paying more for food, clothes, gas than ever. Our open border has allowed over 10 million illegal immigrants into our country the last 4 years, driving up the cost of health care and housing for every one of us. What's more, it's allowed fentanyl to pour into our communities, killing our friends and family. Kamala Harris and Senator Baldwin's policies created all these problems. It's time for change. I'm Eric Hovde, and that's why I'm running for the U.S. Senate. For too long, these career politicians have failed our country. They're all talk, no action. I'm not anything like these people. I'm a business guy who lives in a world where actually solving problems matters. We need to lower the cost of food, close our southern border, build more affordable housing, and fix our healthcare system. I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message because it's time for change.
Paid for by Hovde for Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
3:25 on WTMJ. I hope you're having a great day. Are you having a good day, Greg?
Awesome. All good to go.
So
Absolutely.
glad you're with
Sun is
us.
shining. Beautiful rest of the week here. Looking forward to it.
Yes, as we all wind down or start our next work shift and wherever you're driving right now or if you're at home, did you ever wonder, what do the CEOs around here make? No? You didn't?
Occasionally, sure. I guess it falls a little... a little out of the view for me.
Well, if you're on Lake Drive and you see that house, do you think sometimes, how much is that property tax? Do you think that? I think that all the time.
It's always going to be high in Milwaukee, no matter what house you live
Who
in.
can
Property
afford-
taxes are a little bit out of whack.
Can afford that. Okay. So I have the top 5, and this is from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, who got it all. So it's adding up salary, stock awards, incentive compensation, and other compensation, just so you know. So the base pay of the top earner was $1.4 million, but okay, I was giving away the entire thing. What? All right, fine. I'll give you the entire
Well,
thing.
it's all the other
Number
stuff.
one?
Yeah, sometimes it's modest salaries, but you put all the benefits together, the
Okay.
entire compensation plans, then they go through the roof.
So the CEO of Pfizer, Frank Bisignano, board chair, president, and CEO, his base pay is 1.4, according to the paper, and his grand total is 27.9 million. That's what he makes overall. So he is number 1. Number 2 is Rockwell, Blake Moray at 16.7 million. Number 3 is Kevin Conroy, the chair and president and CEO of Exact Sciences. The Journal-Sentinel lists him at $16.1 million in total compensation. Number 4 is Jonas Pricing, CEO of Manpower. I wasn't expecting that one. I don't know why. $12.7 million. It's a global workforce solution company.
Massive, though. It's a Fortune 150 company.
True. Very true. And number 5, Harley Davidson, president and CEO. I think that is it Jochen Zeitz?
Jochen Zeitz, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And they admittedly have a challenging path forward here. They're trying to bridge the gap with some of their older riders who are very loyal to the brand. They're trying to appeal to younger riders somehow. They've dabbled in the e-space, which is somewhat controversial for them, too, but it's also interesting. It's a challenging path for Harley. It's a proud company, of course, in Wisconsin. Great and rich history, incredible loyalty as well. Trying to find a younger rider is their biggest challenge right now.
He's at 11.9 mil. So the top one's 27.9 and the number 5 is 11.9. Hey, I'll take either one. I'll be number 5.
That sounds good. Yeah.
It's 3:28 on WTMJ. Time for a look for your Annex Wealth Management market update. The Dow was up 161, S&P 500 fell just 1 point, NASDAQ up 6 points. Annex Wealth Management, know the difference.
You're busy. Work, family, life. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what you'll do about things like retirement planning, selling a business, investing, or building your legacy. So your buddy hooks you up with his guy. Seems fine, but when it gets down to advice, you're all of a sudden knee-deep in products packed with commissions. You start to wonder, are you getting advice or are you getting a sales pitch? Annex Wealth Management is a fee-only fiduciary. No commission products, just advice. And clear thinking when it comes to your investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. Annex believes financial planning is for everyone. Annex Comprehensive Wealth is a great fit for most. For those with high net worth and complex planning challenges, consider Annex Private Client. For those just starting out, Annex Ignite is a great choice. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button. It only takes a couple of minutes. Set your own appointment at a time convenient for you. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management. annexwealth.com.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment, flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
3:31 right now. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour. The vice president continues her battleground blitz.
I'm Greg Matzik. Polls open for early voting in the storm-battered state of North Carolina.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, southbound on 41, very heavy from Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol Drive. You're back on the brakes on the bypass heading southbound from Oklahoma Avenue down past Beloit Road. Southbound 43 also slowing from just south of Silver Spring down to Capitol. On the westbound side of 94, backing up out of the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. If you get past that, you're okay all the way into Waukesha County. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be clear, not as cold, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Decision Wisconsin, Vice President Kamala Harris continues her multi-city tour across our state this afternoon after wrapping up an event at UW Milwaukee.
Vice President Harris's appearance at a UWM class alongside businessman Mark Cuban was closed to the press today. But afterwards, the vice president made a brief statement on the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, noting the opportunity to end the war in Gaza has never been better.
The threat Hamas poses to Israel must be eliminated. Today, there is clear progress toward that goal.
The vice president will stop at UW La Crosse and just outside Lambeau Field in Green Bay before heading to Michigan tonight. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
On the other side of the campaign trail, former President Donald Trump stopped by a barbershop in the Bronx this afternoon. CBS's Natalie Brand has more on the GOP.
Trump's running mate campaigned in Pittsburgh this afternoon, making a play for energy-minded voters in western Pennsylvania.
Between West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, we've got enough coal and natural gas to power a golden age of American prosperity.
Later tonight, Trump is scheduled to appear at the All-Smith Dinner in Manhattan to raise money for Catholic charities, a tradition for presidential candidates.
Polls open today for early voting in the battleground state of North Carolina. Raleigh resident Michelle Ingram says that she plans to cast her ballot.
My primary reason for voting early is so I can provide transportation and motivation for those on Election Day.
Officials say more than 400 locations in all 100 counties there were slated to open for the 17-day early vote period. Just 80 sites in 25 western counties hardest hit by Hurricane Helene are not going to open.
Advocates in storm-ravaged North Carolina making the case for landlords to put a 90-day hold on rent collection following Hurricane Helene. It comes as first responders are encountering delays in fielding 911 calls.
I'm Jim Crisula in North Carolina. It's yet another concern in the flood-ravaged mountains of western North Carolina and East Tennessee. With hundreds of roads and bridges washed away, first responders are facing greater difficulty in getting to 911 calls. Response times for some police, fire, and EMS departments and agencies are now double what they were before the natural disaster.
Meanwhile, Airbnb says it's providing free housing solutions for people across Florida and parts of North Carolina.
Franklin Mayor John Nelson has retired from his law enforcement position in Waterford. Nelson and Waterford Police Lieutenant Bill Jeske have been suspended from the department because of separate investigations. It involves allegations that were made against both men. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports multiple other officers under investigation have retired or separated from the town. The department has been operating without a police chief following Matt Johnson's retirement at the beginning of this year.
Multiple Waukesha County leaders are speaking out in favor of a proposed 0.5% sales tax ahead of a vote on the proposal Tuesday. Waukesha County District Attorney Susan Opper says the tax will keep the justice system funded and that the state has not followed its commitment to pay for services the justice system provides. Meanwhile, Waukesha County Sheriff Eric Severson voiced his support for the proposal on Wednesday, saying the tax will prevent deep cuts to the department. County officials estimate the tax would bring in about $55 million per year.
A dispute continues between the Green Bay Packers and Green Bay's mayor over a proposed lease extension at Lambeau Field. 2 letters released just yesterday. The team is calling on the Green Bay Brown County Stadium District to get involved with these negotiations. The team director here.
We're concerned, really frustrated with the approach that the city has taken and the mayor, just with the refusal to engage in discussions.
The city says they will not engage until a reasonable proposal is on the table.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Packers kicker Brandon McManus in uniform, in pads today as the team prepares for a Sunday afternoon contest against the 5-1 Houston Texans. McManus signed off waivers as a free agent yesterday. Meanwhile, the Bucs will wrap up the preseason tonight in Dallas against the Mavericks. Coverage gets underway following the 6 o'clock news.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 3:36.
It's Sweetest Day weekend. Just think how much your sweetheart means to you. WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got a great idea for you. I highly recommend taking your love to the Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford. It is the most affordable Sweetest Day dining destination anywhere. It's big fun, it's big value, and it's a cool place. Your two-piece dine-in Friday fish fry is $4.99. Add $2, it's all you can eat for $6.99. Wow. Your Saturday steak dinner is under $20. Prime rib dinner under $25. Relax with a cold brew, a sweet old-fashioned, a glass of wine. You'll be toasting each other at a perfect Sweetest Day dinner. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford. And this is an easy one, just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh. That's a beautiful location. Lots of seating, lots of close parking. It's Sweetest Day weekend. The Friday fish fry is $4.99. Your Saturday steak dinner, wow, under $20. The Sunday brunch is great. It's all you can eat under $15. Call and reserve your table. MindChefRestaurant.com. Don't forget your sweetheart.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
3:37. I hope that you're having a great Friday Eve. I wanted to bring this to you, and this one, maybe you can let me know what you think on the talk and text line, which is 855-616-1620. Do you think it's okay for a restaurant owner to put the limit on alcohol drinks for people who come into their business with children in tow? What do you think? Do you want to share or no? Brandon?
I need more context here.
Okay. So apparently they're bringing this up. It's right on the border of Wisconsin in Red Wing, Minnesota. So it's really just over the Mississippi River. It separates the location from Wisconsin and Minnesota. So the owner is doing just that. It's a 2-drink max for people drinking alcohol with children in tow. So Gray Television News Network, WEAU, is reporting that in a now-deleted Facebook page that Bayside Saloon and Grill posted that a customer was upset with that drink rule, the 2 drinks maximum for adults with children. It said, quote, "Had an unhappy customer tonight because we enforced this rule on him. I am not going to budge." So they took that down because there was a lot of people that weren't a fan of it. But then, in another Facebook post this week, the restaurant said in the original post it was taken down because it was too controversial. That being said, they said, FYI, the policy stands. And there's been a lot of people that have been in support of this bar owner saying, good for you. That's not how it should be in front of children. 2 drinks, why are you drinking even more than that? So I just wanted to see what people think. Oh, 920, literally the most responsible thing I have ever heard. Do you want to share your thoughts?
So, all right. So there's
yes, that's what the person said. And thank you for
the
your
contradiction that I feel about it is that, okay, you're going to limit the amount of alcoholic beverages for those who have children. And to me, that is saying we don't want you to have that 3rd drink and then drive with your kids in a car to go somewhere else. However, if you don't have kids, cool, we'll give you that extra drink. No problem at all, where you could be a little intoxicated, get behind the wheel, and then strike a vehicle that has children in it.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Good point.
That's the contradiction I see. Meanwhile, there's comedy clubs out there that have 2-drink minimums, where you can have a minimum of 2 drinks to enter the club.
Here's the thing. I know.
Talk
Here's the
about a
thing, though. I
contradiction.
tried to get in when I was 19 to one of those comedy clubs. I love comedy clubs, but you have to be 21 to go in there. So there's that.
I'm assuming that children means under the age of 18. I don't know what it means specifically, if
I would
it's under
assume.
10, but that's what I'm wrapping my arms around. Any non-adult, any non-18-year-old part of your family.
I would assume a child would be one that would be under the age that they could drive and be the sober driver.
I like the principle of the rule, why it's being put in place, but I would say then don't limit it. Don't limit it. Like, what's the message to those who don't have children with them?
No, that's really interesting. So if you want to weigh in, you can text the talk and text line 855-616-1620. So this restaurant owner, right on the border of Wisconsin, decided, yep, 2-drink max for anyone with a child in tow. Brandon, what do you think?
I don't know how. I still am stuck on the most responsible thing that person's ever heard. But I'm with Greg. But I mean, what if you two parents like me and my wife, and we take our kids out, and she's driving, and I want to have more than 2 drinks?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
so it's going to be
me,
like
2 drinks,
weird
I'm
thing.
like gone. So, but with other people, 2 drinks is not much.
Well, again, I think what Brandon is saying is, what if he wants to have a couple of more drinks and wife is driving,
Yeah, he
or
had to work
significant
with
other is
me.
driving, not drinking anything, right? So,
Yeah.
I get it, and maybe there's more clarification, but businesses are free to kind of post the rules and carry them out as they see fit. There's always consequences with any rule. It could affect business positively or negatively. But I say just extend it. If it's a 2-drink maximum, then it's a 2-drink maximum.
For everyone.
Kids, no kids.
Okay.
Because the
I get
spirit
it.
behind the rule is to curb reckless driving or driving while intoxicated, right? But just because there aren't kids in your car, there could be kids in another car that you're encountering on the road.
Oh, 262, there's someone hyping you. I 100% agree with Greg. Man, we went over time. I wish I could keep talking about
Well,
this.
it's fascinating. Businesses can do what they want to do, but I support the spirit of the idea, but to me, extend it.
Oh, we got one more. His bar, his rule. Or her. I don't know who the owner is. I just know that it was called the Bayside Saloon and Grill. All right. It's 3:42 on WTMJ. You can keep bringing in your comments if you'd like, and we can go back to it if you think so. I hope that you guys are having a good day. We have traffic and weather next.
Fall is on its way, which means you need to make sure your house is up to snuff before the cold hits. WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga here for the WTMJ Home Improvement Showcase. Join us every week as we highlight services provided by our great partners, including Comfort Awnings and Bruce's team with Realty Executives Integrity. And they'll get you and your home ready for whatever season Wisconsin holds. It's the WTMJ Fall Home Improvement Showcase. Find out more at WTMJ.com.
Hey, John Mercure here from my good friends at Connect Chiropractic, voted Milwaukee's top chiropractor by the Milwaukee Business Journal's readers. They help with headaches. They help with sleep concerns. They help me with my neck and my back. I kind of carry my stress in my upper neck area, and I wasn't feeling so great till I started going to Connect, and now I feel better all the time. I go every week. 2 locations, easy to get to. One in Tosa, one in Delafield. Dr. Alex, Dr. Marley, Dr. Olivia, they're going to take great care of you. They've got a long-term care focus on total wellness. It's Connect Chiropractic.
Why trust Grandview Homes to buy your home? It's simple. We make the home selling process fast, easy, and stress-free, even if your home is less than perfect. No real estate agents, no repairs, no cleanouts needed. Leave the mess and the stress to us. At Grandview Homes, we live and work in your neighborhoods. Our reputation is built on 15 years treating sellers with the dignity and respect they deserve. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
Questions you might hear a lot this fall. Will my team make the playoffs? How much snow are we getting this winter? And whatever happened to Tammy Baldwin? After 25 years in D.C., Baldwin sides with the extreme left. Baldwin voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID relief money to criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. That's nuts. And she supports forcing women's domestic violence shelters to admit biological men who claim to be women. Baldwin even backed puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin. So here's one more question. Now that Baldwin's gone so far left, why should we keep her in the Senate? It's time to replace Tammy Baldwin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Traffic is sponsored by Kowal Investment Group, the retirement specialists. Retire well with Kowal.
A strong retirement plan should go beyond investment management. At Kowal Investment Group, our fiduciary advisors can help you reach your retirement goals. Call us today or visit us online at thekowalway.com.
346, let's get you where you need to safely, traffic, and then weather. Hey, Debbie Lazaga.
Hey, Julia. It's a heavy ride along southbound 43, pretty much from Silver Spring all the way down to Capitol Drive. It's really, really slow. And then from Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette interchange. Westbound 894, we're seeing backups from about 27th Street to Loomis. And then we got the eastbound side slowing down out of the Hale interchange towards Forest Home as well. Southbound on the bypass also kind of heavy from Oklahoma Avenue down past Beloit Road. We've got eastbound 94 also slowing down a little bit from 76th Street all the way in through the Stadium interchange. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight will be clear, not as cold as last night, a low of 44. Very low winds. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68. Saturday, sunny and warm. Nice weekend ahead. Sunday, sunny and warm, a high of 74. Monday, partly cloudy and warm, a high of 72. Right now, here in Milwaukee, it's sunny and 63 degrees. All right. This is in the headlines. Actually, I think you just read this, Greg, at the top of the hour. Waukesha County may be on the fast track to getting a 0.5% sales tax increase. It was formally introduced earlier this month, and the county board is going to vote on it next Wednesday. So it's going to be pretty soon on whether the sales tax should go up a 0.5%, and that would start in July of next year. County Executive Paul Farrow has referenced how much law enforcement costs alone, and he was projecting about $55 million in extra revenue if that was put in place to help them with their budget. So I wanted to learn, how has Milwaukee County fared? Because just 10.5 months into the county sales tax going up 0.4%. So it went up from 0.5% to 0.4% to okay, so it's 0.9%, all right? That's what it is now. We have Rob Henkin with the Wisconsin Policy Forum, who's always on top of it. Rob, good afternoon.
Hi, Julia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So I read in the Journal-Sentinel that Milwaukee County increasing the sales tax by 0.4%, they expected it to bring in some good revenue, tens of millions of dollars, but it's not coming to fruition. Have you seen that?
Yes. So this was a result of some state legislation that was passed about a year ago, last summer, and it did authorize, as you said, Milwaukee County to increase its sales tax from a 0.5 cent to 0.9 cents. The county made a projection, as they do every year, in terms of what the both the additional sales tax and the existing sales tax would generate. And unfortunately, sales tax collections have slowed. Now, that was true earlier in the year. They have improved as the year has gone on. But whereas originally the county was expecting to get about $190 million of revenue from the 0.9% sales tax, that was coming in a little bit short of budget, and the county actually, for its 25 budget, is projecting about $1 million decrease for next year.
Yeah, because I see that they expected to get an additional projected by the Department of Revenue, $82.2 million. So what happened? Why do you think that is?
Well, a few reasons. And first of all, again, these were mid-year projections, and we're still not sure how the year will turn out. But you have to remember a few things. Number one, inflation, when inflation is high, no matter how you look at that, that's bad news for the most part. But the one area where it is good news is that as the cost of goods and services, as those prices go up, sales tax collections, which are a percentage of the price of the goods and services, those go up as well. So inflation slowing down, which again is good in almost every other respect, did cut into what the county expected to generate from that sales tax. And in general, just economic performance was not quite as strong as it had been in previous years, and the county was a little bit too aggressive in projecting what the sales tax would generate. But by the time the year is over, it may turn out that they're really not that short. It's still difficult to tell.
Rob, in the case of Waukesha County, as part of the proposal, $12 million would be allocated to a deduction in county property tax bills. Is that a concession enough to sort of soften the potential blow?
Well, I think that's a really subjective question, and the Wisconsin Policy Forum doesn't get into subjective questions. But what I will say is that yeah, in an ideal world, you'd look at adding a sales tax to try to increase the diversity of your revenue streams. A property tax, as the name implies, hits property owners. One of the benefits of a sales tax is it hits people who are consuming goods and services within that county. In Waukesha County, you have lots of folks from other counties who are coming to Brookfield Square, for example, to go shopping. They're using Waukesha County services, but they're not helping to support those services. So in that ideal world, as I said, you would, if you're going to either increase or introduce a sales tax, you would diminish another tax. So the fact that there's some property tax relief, and there was for Milwaukee County as well, the property tax went down by $24 million in 2024. So that's a good thing. Whether that's enough, I think that's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, they were talking about, actually, Paul Farrow, we had him on Wisconsin's Afternoon News, and he was talking about the fact that at least maybe 60% or more at a time of their Waukesha County jail, the addresses of the inmates are in somewhere from Milwaukee County. But here's my question now. So everybody's thinking, okay, maybe this is the only way we can do this. This is the only way we can get revenue. And we know that there's been a lot of struggles with trying to figure out what you can do with your purse strings, even us at home. But when you don't have those projections, is this even worth it? If Waukesha County has a 0.5% increase, should they look at what's going on in their neighboring county that probably has, a lot of revenue, and they have, the Bucks, and we just had the RNC. We also have in West Dallas the county fair and the Brewers, and they're not meeting their projections. So do you think that was just too small for Milwaukee County, or do you think that, or what do you think about Waukesha County doing the 0.5%? Are they going to meet their projection?
Well, so first of all, they have some good evidence to go on. What they will use is there's a statewide sales tax of 5%, and the State Department of Revenue knows how much is generated in Waukesha County that goes into state government coffers from that 5% sales tax. So the projection that Waukesha County leaders will use will be based on past performance in terms of how the sales tax has fared with regard to the state collections, and that's how they'll come up with their estimate. Now, what they can't predict is what will happen with inflation and with economic growth in 2025. So certainly, if they're being prudent, they will be conservative in that projection. But whatever that number is that they are projecting right now, again, it may be off by a few $1 million, and I'm not suggesting that a few million isn't a lot, but when the total projection is $55 million, and if you're off 2 or 3, you're still getting a big benefit from a financial perspective. So again, ideally that will be a conservative projection and they'll be able to exceed it, but if they don't, arguably, there's still a benefit there from the perspective of county government. Obviously, it's a different question from the perspective of the people who have to pay that sales tax.
And Rob, just one more question. And the city, at the beginning of this year, they added a 2% sales tax. So the Department of Revenue estimated they were going to make another $193.6 million for that. And now we're 10 and a half months in, but are we meeting that projection for the city?
Well, so you're talking my language here, Julia, as a budget geek, because it's actually pretty interesting. So in the case of the city of Milwaukee, they had never had a sales tax. And so their projection was much more of a stab in the dark. And city leaders actually got ultra conservative. You're right. The State Department of Revenue said, hey, we think a good projection would be about $193 million. City leaders said, you know what, this is our first year. We're going to go lower than that. We're going to go $184 million. And actually, because of that extra conservative projection, they are projecting that they will exceed the amount that they budgeted for.
Interesting. Rob Henkin with the Wisconsin Policy Forum, thank you so much for putting all this into perspective for us. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day. 3:55 on WTMJ. Your top stories, weather, and sports are next.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
An $80 million construction project is wrapping up at Marquette. The 180,000 square foot health and wellness facility is set to open in January for the spring semester. Elsewhere in Milwaukee construction, FVC Live's venue in the Deer District is on track for fall 2025 completion. The nearly $70 million project broke ground this past May. A California-based soccer training and entertainment company with a facility near Madison closed on a $100 million funding round to finance growth and investment in its facilities. Toka Football runs 39 training centers in the U.S. and Canada. I'm Drew Dawson from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
The Pfister Hotel is pleased to announce that it has entered Phase 3 of its extensive renovation plan. After the full revitalization of the hotel's event spaces and historic guest rooms, Phase 3 focuses on the hotel's first floor public spaces and is set to be completed this winter. The renovations will accentuate the grandeur of Milwaukee's most beautiful lobby while reinforcing the hotel's approachable sophistication. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms today. Start planning your stay at thepfisterhotel.com.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love my dogs, Bella and Baxter, an important part of our family. They're kind of like kids sometimes, and like kids, they weren't always listening, but I've got it figured out now. Thanks to Matt and his teams at Sit Means Sit Dog Training, our dogs are better behaved. They don't bark as much. They just listen better. They're happy, confident, obedient. Our house is a better house. Sit Means Sit Dog Training turned it around for us. Let them do the same for you. You can start with a free consultation. The website is sitmeansitwaukesha.com. Sitmeansitwaukesha.com.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Arbor Point Advisors, LLC, APA. Osaic Wealth and APA are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and APA.
No one wants to be a loser, and yet when compared to the perfection God demands, we all fall short. Dr. Leo Sanchez tells how God takes losers and makes them winners, turning lost sinners into forgiven sons and daughters, by grace through faith in Christ. Hear Dr. Sanchez's message this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContracting.wi.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. Zero wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? TriCountyContracting.wi.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. TriCountyContracting.wi.com.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you feel self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
These reports are sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today. Visit thepfisterhotel.com. And traffic is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Your locally owned hometown station gives you the news and what it means to you. Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 4 o'clock. I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Thursday, October 17th. Your top story, the White House weighs in on the death of a prominent Hamas leader.
I'm Greg Matzik. A new milestone in teenage tobacco use.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Southbound 43 continues kind of a heavy ride from before Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive. You'll be back on the break south of Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette. Northbound's just a little bit heavy right through the Fond du Lac Avenue area. Westbound 94 slowing from 25th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound's got some backups from just before 76th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. And 41 southbound, a heavy ride from before Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic.
Tonight will be clear, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68 degrees. Current temperature here in Milwaukee is 63 degrees and sunny. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, we are hearing from the White House regarding the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
Just got this statement in from President Joe Biden. He said, quote, "This is a good day for Israel, the United States, and for the world." He went on to say, "To my Israeli friends, this is no doubt a day of relief and remnants of similar to the scenes witnessed throughout the United States after President Obama ordered the raid to kill Osama bin Laden in 2011. Goes on to say there is now an opportunity for a day after in Gaza without Hamas in power and for a political settlement that provides a better future for Israelis and Palestinians alike."
President Joe Biden says he is hopeful that this will lead to an end to the Israel-Hamas war.
Decision Wisconsin, Vice President Kamala Harris spending her Thursday touring the state of Wisconsin and receiving a sour welcome at UW Milwaukee earlier today.
Vice President Harris was greeted at the Lubar Center by a chorus of pro-Palestinian protest chants. After her closed-to-press event in a UWM classroom, the vice president briefly commented on the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar.
This moment gives us an opportunity to finally end the war in Gaza.
Vice President Harris now heads to UW La Crosse and then to just outside Lambeau Field in Green Bay before flying to Michigan tonight. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Charges have been filed against the mother and her boyfriend in the death of a Two Rivers toddler, Elijah Vu.
Manitowoc County District Attorney Jacqueline Labrie announced new charges against Vu's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang.
Jesse Vang is being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child, consequences death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer.
A bail hearing for both Bauer and Vang is expected to take place around noon on Friday. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
Well, do you have a child who seems like they've been sick since the start of the school year? You may not be alone. Dr. Tim Richer from TOSA Pediatrics tells Wisconsin's Morning News there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
You have people coming in who have been sick for 4 or 5 weeks, and you have to figure out, is this just an ongoing complication of what you had or just multiple things piling on one another? And
Dr. Richer says while COVID is still circulating, he's also seeing other viruses as well as bacterial infections like walking pneumonia and pertussis, otherwise known as whooping cough.
The share of middle and high school students using tobacco products has fallen to the lowest levels on record. CBS News, Alexander Tin.
The share of middle and high school students who say they are currently using tobacco products has fallen from 10% last year to just 8.1% of students this year. This now marks the lowest that rates of adolescents using tobacco products has been since the CDC and FDA first launched their annual survey back in 1999. Back then, more than a third of high school students and more than 1 in 10 middle school students were using tobacco products.
The Center for Tobacco Products director says continued vigilance is needed to keep the numbers down among adolescents.
Well, Milwaukee just wrapped up the 2024 cruise season and beat expectations.
Hot off the presses today, our final count was 13,568 passengers that came to Milwaukee through cruise ships.
Port Milwaukee Director Jackie Q. Carter and Wisconsin's Midday News wrapping a bow on the 2024 cruise season. Now the port looks ahead to next year. And what's new?
We had a cruise company that left the Great Lakes. They went out of business. They sold those vessels. We'll see them come back in 2025.
That's Victory Cruise Lines returning to Milwaukee. Expect to see Victory One in port, a cruise ship that can hold 200 people. Jessica Ty, WTMJ News.
Coming up, controversy over the launch of a new women's pro sports team.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 4:05.
This report is sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. SidingUnlimited.com.
Does your home need a new defensive coach? Is it prepared for the upcoming wind, cold, rain, and snow? I recommend Siding Unlimited. Can wind and cold get through your windows? Siding Unlimited fixes that. Water and snow a challenge for your roof? Siding Unlimited fixes that too. Is the siding letting the elements through or just looking offensive? Fixing that is Siding Unlimited's first and continuing specialty. When the weather's offense beats your home's defense, call in Siding Unlimited. They're not only the best, they're now a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Their name says siding, but they're so much more. Whatever the challenge, put Siding Unlimited in. See their stuff, siding, windows, roofing, and decks, on Instagram or at their unique outside-in showroom in Brookfield. They're waiting for you. What are you waiting for? SidingUnlimited.com.
Hi, I'm Dewey Strobel. When I learned that 1 in 7 Wisconsinites struggle with literacy and that only 13% of elementary students at our state's largest school district read at grade level, I knew we had to do something. Reading is the #1 building block for learning, and our kids were falling behind. So I introduced and passed a bipartisan literacy bill to develop a proven phonics-based curriculum and give schools the resources they need to implement it. Teaching our kids to read isn't partisan. I worked with elected officials from both sides of the aisle to get this bill signed into law by Governor Evers. Because to keep our state moving forward, we have to make sure our kids have the tools that they need to be successful. I'm Dewey Strobel, and when Wisconsin is facing serious issues, you can count on me to cut through the partisan gridlock and deliver results for you and your family. I'd be honored to earn your vote for State Senate this November. Paid for by Dewey for Senate.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 4:07.
The launch of a new women's pro soccer team in Boston did not go so well.
The team is called Boss Nation FC. A video rollout showed male stars of Boston sports teams.
Balls. Old balls. New balls. Steel balls.
It left soccer fans crying foul.
The insinuation that the only difference between men and women's sports is the amount of balls that one can find, I found degrading.
And team officials on the defensive.
The whole intent behind the brand was to be inclusionary, and so we take that very seriously.
The team, which starts play in 2026, has apologized. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The newest member of the Packers, Brandon McManus, arrived in Green Bay on Wednesday. He'll be in uniform Sunday when the Packers take on the Texans.
So, it's been a difficult time this past couple months, and I'm happy that it's in the past now. I was hoping and working hard for another opportunity. I'm extremely grateful for the Green Bay Packers for giving me that next chance.
McManus said Wednesday the lawsuit filed by 2 flight attendants against him for assault and sexual assault have been resolved. The NFL found insufficient evidence to punish McManus as part of the league's personal conduct policy. And the Bucs wrap up the preseason tonight against the Mavericks in Dallas. Coverage gets underway at 6 o'clock on WTMJ.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:09.
Check this out. There's free pizza today at the Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mind Chef pizza. Best cheese, best crust. I love the pepperoni. Every Thursday when you buy 1 pizza, you get a second pizza for free. Buy 2 pizzas, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free pizzas, any size or quantity. Hey, coaches, bring in your football, soccer, cross-country, volleyball, swim team. Beef up on the free pizza. Your players will also love the Mind Chef's world-class game room. It's super affordable team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your loyal employees and your clients. They'll appreciate you, and they'll love that pizza. And your second one's free. Business owners, managers, order now, pick up your pizza shortly, or dine in. The Friday 2-piece dine-in fish fry is just $4.99. That is nuts. The Mind Chef in downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh. Don't turn your oven on. Just walk in today for your free pizza with plenty to take home for tomorrow. MindChefRestaurant.com, the amazing Mind Chef.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Julia Fellow.
I've been all on my lonesome without John for almost 2 weeks now, but I have my man, Greg, right next to me. Greg Matzik.
Today and tomorrow, rounding out the week.
Yay!
A sunny fall afternoon going into the weekend. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
John's coming back Monday, and then I'm off all next week. Are you filling in next week?
I think I'm on Thursday.
Ooh.
I think I'm on Thursday
all right,
next week.
I will be listening for sure. For sure. Okay, I wanted to share this with you. This weekend marks yet another year with a special commemoration. This Saturday is National Move Over Day. Slow down, reminding drivers of the importance of this life-saving maneuver.
Imagine driving down the highway, feeling safe and secure. Suddenly, you see flashing lights ahead. What do? Well, if you know the law, you know you have to slow down, or better yet, move over safely into at least the next lane away from those stopped vehicles. Wisconsin State Patrol Sergeant Erica Ballweg-Larson is shining a light on how important this law actually is.
Move Over Day is a day that we kind of want motorists to reflect and think about the people that are working alongside the roadways, whether that's a first responder, highway maintenance worker, tow truck operators, or any other emergency service vehicles that are on the side of the roadway. We want motorists just to kind of think about those people and that potentially their lives could be at risk when they're traveling by at highway speeds.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, thousands of emergency personnel are injured or killed each year while on the job. Many of these tragic incidents could be prevented if drivers simply moved over. And if you can't move over,
slowing down is not going the speed limit past us. It's slowing below the speed limit to a speed that's safe. And it doesn't have to be a speed that's like so low that it's causing a traffic incident behind you, but it's just a speed that's much safer so that it gives a little bit of a cushion just to give them a little bit extra protection.
When workers or first responders are out on the side of the roadway, where the majority of vehicles are traveling at a relatively high rate of speed, they have practically no protection against a wayward vehicle that might creep into the shoulder just a little bit. All while these vehicles are tearing past them, they have to stay focused to do their jobs, sometimes saving another person's life. Think of how many times you've let go your focus and you've just slightly slid over just a little bit. Now picture a human being there, just trying to do their job and go home safely to their home and family. Puts a different spin on it, doesn't it? So that's why you might get pulled over if you don't.
A lot of times it might be just an educational lesson for when we stop motorists, and other times it might result in a citation. If you can't move over, we would obviously very much appreciate motorists to slow down.
You could also face some hefty fines and points on your license, not to mention the possibility of hurting or, worse yet, killing someone.
Fine for this violation can result in a citation of $263 and 3 points, and it is a moving violation. So that's where the points get added to the citation.
There's also another aspect of the law that most folks don't realize. I mean, I didn't realize it.
In December of 2021, the Act 115 took effect. That law creates emergency response area within 500 feet of an authorized emergency vehicle with their lights on. Handheld devices are banned in that area, which we want to remind people that fines do double in work zones as well.
So you know what I'm going to say. I always say it. Slow down, stay in control, and give the workers and first responders a wide berth when you see the flashing lights on the side of the road. Cut them some slack and slow it down so that everyone can get home safe and sound. Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
Such a great reminder. What a wonderful story. By the way, after this break, you get your traffic with Debbie Lazaga coming up.
Miss any of the truth on WTMJ?
I'm representing the bull.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and catch up on moments like this.
John, if you wanted to come on the show, all you had to do, you didn't have to make Biden quit to come on the show.
And listen to the truth on WTMJ every Sunday from 7 until 9 with Dr. Ken Harris and Denise Thomas, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here from my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know our climate is all over the place. This means your home comfort system gets quite the workout. Constant adjustments need to be made to adapt to our volatile weather. Wisconsin prepares you to be ready for anything because anything happens. Fear not, because for over 42 years, my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating have lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, winter, even when they all seem to happen within the same week, Whether you're experiencing your next home comfort dilemma now or will be soon, call Dave Drakamp Heating. For free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or just to ensure your system is ready for anything, or maybe because you have a simple question about your home comfort, call Dave Drakamp today. 262-367-2820. That's 262-367-2820. Dave Drakamp Heating, your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakamp.com.
It's spooky season, and we've conjured up monster deals at Heiser. Don't let your money-eating nightmare ride haunt you any longer. At Heiser, it's all treats and no tricks. Trade in and upgrade to a new truck, perfect for hauling spooky decorations, taking those holiday road trips, or carting home all that candy. Whether it's new or used, our wickedly good deals on Chevy, Toyota, and Ford trucks will give you the chills. Stop in or shop online. At Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
416, traffic, and then weather. Let's get to Debbie Lazaga. Hey, Deb.
Hey there, southbound on the bypass. We're seeing backups now from Oklahoma Avenue pretty much down and around the Hale interchange to Forest Home. Westbound 894 is a little bit slow coming out of the Mitchell interchange to Loomis. Southbound 43 still heavy from Silver Spring to Capitol. Southbound 41 is backed up from Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol Drive as well. Northbound side starting to slow down a bit too from about Mayfair Road up towards Burleigh. And eastbound 94, we've got some backups from just east of Highway F all the way through the Barker Road area, almost to Brookfield Road. And then you're back on the brakes from 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Thanks, Deb. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today and tonight, clear, not as cold as yesterday. That's good. A low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68. The weekend is so nice. Sunny and warm Saturday, a high of 71. Sunday, mostly sunny, warm, pick day, a high of 74. Then getting into your Monday, will be partly cloudy and warm, a high of 72. Current temperature right now, here in Milwaukee, 63 degrees and sunny.
It's time to get caught up on the green and gold. From the highlights.
Here's Love. Wide open. He's got Kraft. Tight ends ran with stiff arm. Kraft scored the distance. Tucker Kraft.
To inside the locker room.
In regards to trying to get everybody involved, I mean, it's a good problem to have, but it can potentially be a problem if you let it be.
And everything in between.
What the hell's going on out here?
It's time to get caught up on the green and gold with today's insider, producer Brendan Snide.
I think the biggest question, the biggest frustration part of all of this, I don't know what happened to the pass rush.
On Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
This is your Green and Gold Insiders. Every Thursday, we have our wonderful producer, Brandon Snide. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, guys. How's it going today?
You excited for the whiteout on Sunday?
Yeah, it's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about because I was curious on your thoughts. The Packers introducing these quote-unquote winter warning uniforms, which is basically an all-white uniform, and it's going to be in the mid-70s on Sunday. So I was curious, Julia. You're a fashion. You have a lot of fashion knowledge. Have you been able to check out the uniforms? What are your thoughts on them?
I love it. I love a good fit. I love the different uniforms. Every team, I love when they do this. And also they're asking the fans to dress up as well in white too. So that will be really stunning.
Okay, so to Brandon's point, the winter warning is front and center on the Packers website. So they've done this whiteout theme on the website, on their Twitter handle, their avatar.
No.
They got a white theme treatment to everything they're doing in Green Bay. But going to be 74 degrees, and it's a noon game.
So the person who did this is not from here?
Well, nonetheless, I think they wanted to a quality opponent, a playoff team from a year ago. Should be an exciting game. Houston's 5-1. The Packers are 4-2. All signs point to this being a very exciting game. Players get into this. I can tell you that much. Having been in the locker room, the amount of times I've been in it, players like to look good. They like different. But this, to me, looks amazing when Penn State does it for a night football game.
That's where I was going with it.
You know, I'm curious to see how it looks during the day, like a noon kick.
And they knew the schedule when they announced this uniform. They knew that they were going to be playing a noon game on the schedule. I am a little shocked, though, Greg and Julia, and I'll be honest with you, that they haven't flexed out of this game. It's obviously now it's too late. But I'm honestly surprised they didn't flex out of a C.J. Stroud versus Jordan Love. The comparables, they share an agent. They're around the same age. They're two of the top, tier quarterbacks in the NFL. I was a little shocked they haven't flexed out of that, but nonetheless, it is a noon game. But I also didn't understand the winter warning uniform in October. Now, yes, it gets cold in October, and we've had frost on the grass this morning, and I'm sure up in Green Bay there is as well. But I thought this was a missed opportunity. I thought Thanksgiving night against Miami would have been a perfect time to wear these uniforms. You're at home. It's the first time you're at home on a Thanksgiving night, probably since Brett Favre era. And I thought that would have been a perfect time. So I was a little thrown off by the time that they selected to wear the uniforms. I understand it's the opponent, it's the Houston Texans. However, the Dolphins, I think, would have been a greater pull on Thanksgiving night. And to Greg's point, the white out under the lights would have been fantastic. But, I like them. Yeah.
They look
That's
good.
really cool.
My first thought was you do it in October, you give a little more run for merchandise sales, but this stuff's been for sale for I think since the start of the
came
season.
out.
Oh, that's why.
I think it's been available now. To what degree, I'm not exactly sure, but they've been in the pro shop. If you've been in the pro shop to see it.
Yeah,
I think they look good. They look good.
I have the NFL 2025 draft little polo too.
Already,
yeah,
that stuff's
they have
out.
awesome merch.
They got the pins and the hats already up there. I was up there over the summer. Speaking of new uniforms, a new uniform, Packers kicker Brandon McManus joining the team. I want to gather your guys' thoughts on this whole situation. We talked to Tausch about it. We talked to Jason Wilde, both of those guys from the Wilde and Tausch 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, can be heard statewide Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. Were you guys okay with the signing of Brandon McManus? Julie, I'm going to start with you because of what he had been accused of.
Yeah, I know.
On the airplane when he played for Jacksonville. Now, it is an interesting story. I mean, obviously, he spoke. He has been cleared. The NFL also cleared him. So there are no more accusations. There are no more pending cases or charges against him. But as a female, I want to gather a female's perspective on this and your thoughts on the now new Packers place kicker.
Yeah, uneasy. And then I read a little bit more about it, and I don't even know if that became a federal issue or what it was because it went over international waters.
Sure.
They were on their way to London, and the accusations involve some flight attendants, and apparently there was a lawsuit, and it's resolved.
Been resolved.
They said resolved. What does that mean?
A civil lawsuit, not a criminal
Does
lawsuit.
that mean
so
settled?
a civil lawsuit likely is some sort of settlement.
Yeah.
We can hear from him here. Hang on. We'll hear from Brandon McManus.
On that investigation, but I've been very honest about it, to them, the league and the Packers, and I think they did the research. The NFL resolved it, and so did the courts. The matter's been resolved. So, like I said, I was always upfront and honest about it, and that's just how I was able to kind of get through this all.
So that's Brandon McManus talking about, he kind of broke a little bit of news yesterday because I think a lot of people thought the case was still pending. However,
right.
It is not. So you wanted to follow up with what he said.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad that the NFL did look into it. So that's a good step, and they said that they found nothing. So it seems like it's resolved. He wasn't criminally charged, and we can move on.
Well, insufficient evidence is the quote from the NFL. I don't know exactly what that means.
Well,
insufficient evidence.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. But the NFL is really hard on players, right? The hammer usually comes down on these types of incidents. I mean, look at the kicker that was in Buffalo, the punter's name, Ariza. And they suspended him for a full calendar year, and it turned out that case did also have not enough evidence, and he was acquitted of those charges. And the NFL suspended him a whole year. So I think I agree with it. Obviously, they did their due diligence. I trust Brian Gutekunst. I trust Matt LaFleur. But real quick, Greg, for your point of view, you heard about Julia's feelings towards it. What he did, what he was accused of. What is your feelings on the field for a guy going from Braden Narvison now to Brandon McManus?
Just looking at it from an on-field talent perspective, this is an upgrade over what the Packers had.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would also argue that Anders Carlson is an upgrade over what the Packers had. And Carlson just signed with the San Francisco 49ers. I think if you're going to expend a sixth-round draft pick on a kicker, the lease for that kicker should be longer than 1 season, but I also understand the Packers' plan is far accelerated given how they performed last year. They thought this young team would grow with this young kicker and everybody's going to move together, and in a couple of years we're going to be back. Well, they were back last year, and the kicker, though he started off really pretty good, faded down the stretch. Now, people will point to his field goal percentage. Oh, he made 82% of his field goals. Yeah, but he also missed more extra points than any kicker
5 to be
in
exact,
the NFL,
yep.
and that's part of the reason why he's looking for a job. I did find it interesting just looking historically. In the world of the NFL, Brandon McManus is connected on 81.4% of his field goals. Right behind him in the all-time list is Mason Crosby, who connected on 81.3% of his field goals. Interesting nugget, huh?
That is very interesting.
He can kick. He's got a Super Bowl. He's kicked in bad conditions in Denver at times. His accuracy over 50 yards is not great historically, but the Packers haven't even attempted a 50-yard-plus field goal this
And when
season.
you got Jordan Love, you don't need to, baby. Just throw it up to Jaden Reed.
He is better, but they could not have been much worse than they had.
Let's just get it closer to the goal line so then they can kick
Yeah, just
easier.
get touchdowns instead.
Just go for it.
It's just so much easier.
Just go
Can't
for
you
it.
just score
I'll go for the 2
touchdowns?
points.
Like
Come on, guys.
like Jordan Love said, blanket. There's somebody down there. Jaden Reed's down there. Let's throw it up.
Throw it.
All right, thanks, guys. Your Green and Gold Insiders, Brandon Snide, every Thursday. Get his insights. It's fantastic. 426 on WTMJ. We have your top stories, weather, and traffic next.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than Accunet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to Accunet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at Accunet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 32-ounce selected varieties cremette pasta, $2.29. 10 to 50 count selected varieties Dixie plates or bowls, $2.79. 9.5 to 11.75 selected varieties Pepperidge Farms garlic toaster bread, 2 for $6. 16-ounce selected varieties Dean's French onion dip, 2 for $4.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. Admit it, you've been dealing with achy joint pain for so long. It's been so long you don't even remember when it started, when you used to feel good. You do the daily doses of medication, which basically just a Band-Aid. You've done the steroid shots, and it just doesn't last, and God knows what the long-term effects are. So let's talk real lasting relief. It is possible with the help from QC Kinetics. People in Milwaukee are reducing the inflammation, getting the mobility back, and most importantly, getting their lives back. Just call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular therapies, using your own body's healing properties. Find out if you're a candidate for regenerative treatments. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Here's the number, 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and here's the best part, no downtime. You can go right to the office right after a treatment. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
When an injury or illness occurs, deciding where to go for same-day medical care can be stressful. It can be confusing. To help us understand the many different same-day care options is Dr. Anshu Agarwal. Dr. Agarwal is a primary care physician who practices at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin McKinley Health Center. Dr. Agarwal, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Often a hospital emergency department is the first place that comes to mind for same-day care. Is that always the right choice?
While the ER is the first place we think of, there's often different places you can go depending on the severity. For example, if you believe you're at risk of a permanent disability or are in acute danger, you should call 911 and seek care in the ER immediately. However, if you have a more minor injury or minor issue, you can actually go to different options such as same-day care options like urgent care or fast care.
It's freighter.com/same day if you want to check that out. And you mentioned doctor virtual care options. Sounds like a very convenient option to be able to receive care from home when you're not feeling well. What can you tell us about virtual visits?
Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin has many virtual options. Basically, a virtual visit is a visit which is a live visit with the primary care provider where you log on using the MyChart app and you're able to talk to your provider one-on-one. They're able to ask you the exact same questions they could in the office. However, you're able to do it in the comfort of your own home, which can be very convenient if you're not feeling well, don't feel up to the drive to the office itself.
So if someone's interested in scheduling that virtual visit, how can they go about doing so?
The easiest way is go to the Freighter and Medical College of Wisconsin app or MyChart app, where you can actually go and schedule a virtual appointment. That's the same app you can use to look at different test results, request prescription renewals, and view your EHR or electronic health record. You can also send messages to your health team directly through that app.
Great information. Dr. Agarwal, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour, world leaders addressing the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar.
I'm Greg Matzek. Time is running out for a Texas death row inmate.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, eastbound 94. Got some heavy traffic from just east of Highway 16 all the way through the Barker Road area, almost to Brookfield Road. And then you're back on the brakes from 92nd Street through the stadium. The westbound side slow out of the Marquette all the way to about Hawley Road. And then southbound 41, we've still got some backups from Appleton Avenue all the way down to, past Capitol Drive, with the northbound side slowing from Mayfair Road up past Burleigh. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Clear, not as cold tonight compared to last night, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addresses the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. Details from News Nation's Jot Khalil.
He made it a point to say, and I thought this is what stood out to me most. He said here, quote, that Hamas will no longer reign, and that to the people of Gaza, this is the day after Hamas. So direct words there from Netanyahu, but making it clear that the war effort is not over. And he also talked to the families of the Israeli soldiers who've been killed, saying, we know the war is hard. It is not over yet. For those who've lost family, your sacrifices have brought about our victory thus far.
Yahya Sinwar was killed during an Israeli military operation.
Vice President Kamala Harris swinging her way through Wisconsin, where the presidential race is considered a toss-up. CBS's Natalie Brand.
She started with a stop at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee as her campaign tries to turn out the youth vote.
Now, since we're getting older and we're looking to buy houses, I feel like the economy is a big reason why I'm voting for who I'm voting.
Former President Donald Trump stopped by a barber shop in the Bronx this afternoon with a large security detail.
Tonight, Trump appears at the Al Smith dinner to raise money for Catholic charities, a tradition for presidential candidates.
Harris will give pre-taped remarks as her campaign says she's focused on being in the battleground states.
New charges have been filed in connection to the death of Two Rivers toddler Elijah Vu. Manitowoc County District Attorney Jacqueline Labrie unveiled the new charges against Vu's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, today.
Jesse Vang is being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child, consequences death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer.
Both Bauer and Vang will have their bail hearings tomorrow.
Well, time is running out for a Texas death row inmate who could be the first in the country executed for shaken body syndrome. 56-year-old Robert Robertson is set to be put to death in less than 2 hours.
Last-minute appeals from Roberson's legal team have been rejected by the Texas Parole Board and the Court of Criminal Appeals. He was convicted of killing his 2-year-old daughter, Nikki, in 2002. She was believed to have died from shaken baby syndrome, now considered junk science.
I couldn't explain what happened to her. They said, you're guilty, and the way I was acting funny because of my autism. I didn't even know I had autism until I was here.
Roberson's lawyers and medical advocates now say her death was misdiagnosed double pneumonia that progressed to sepsis. Texas Governor Greg Abbott could grant a 30-day reprieve. Chris Fox, for CBS News, Austin.
Drivers across the country are being reminded to slow down and move over for emergency vehicles on roadways.
It's a nationwide initiative to increase awareness of the importance of safety for first responders and road workers. Wisconsin State Patrol Sergeant Erica Ballwig-Larson shines a light on how important the law is.
Move Over Day is a day that we kind of want motorists to reflect and think about the people that are working alongside the roadways. We want motorists just to kind of think about those people and that potentially their lives could be at risk when they're traveling by at highway speeds.
Although the big day is Saturday, the State Patrol wants to remind everyone that they should always be slowing down or moving over for stopped vehicles. Debbie Loziga, WTMJ News.
Well, a dispute over rent has lease extension talks between the Packers and City of Green Bay on pause. The team says Mayor Eric Genrich is obstructing the negotiation process, while Mayor Genrich says the city would lose out on $30 million if the two parties were to adopt its new lease proposal. Stadium District Board Chair Keith Lucius tells NBC 26 in Green Bay the group is happy to engage with the Packers to get negotiations off the ground.
We have been requesting to be involved with all negotiations because we're the ones who are going to have to operate it on the day-to-day functions, make sure both sides are living up to the lease.
The Packers' current lease at Lambeau is set to end in 2032 with an option for 2 5-year extensions.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The newest member of the Packers is kicker Brandon McManus, who arrived in Green Bay just yesterday, will be in uniform Sunday when the Packers host the Texans. He said Wednesday the lawsuit filed against him by 2 flight attendants for assault and sexual assault has been resolved. The NFL also found insufficient evidence to punish him as part of a league's personal conduct policy. The Bucs wrap up the preseason tonight in Dallas against the Mavericks. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock right here on WTMJ.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 4:37.
This report sponsored by Fox World Travel. Go, Fox, go.
Hi, it's Rose Gray from Fox World Travel, inviting you on an unforgettable 2025 European journey. Travel in style, embrace beauty, and create memories with new friends as you visit our favorite destinations, including Ireland, Italy, Germany, France, Switzerland, Poland, Croatia, and more. Whether it's your first or your 10th time visiting Europe, you don't want to miss out on our expertly crafted group tours with Insight Vacations, Globus, or Avalon Waterways. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Let's explore the world together.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Arbor Point Advisors, LLC, APA. Osaic Wealth and APA are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and APA.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Greg and Julia with you. It's a Thursday edition of Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Brennan producing the show. Did you get your cruise on this year?
No, did you?
I did not in the port of Milwaukee.
You did go on a cruise?
Cruising season has come to an end, sadly. I don't mind going on cruises. I don't love them. My wife likes them a little more than I do. The kids seem to enjoy them. But when we think cruise, we usually think Caribbean, and let's get out of Dodge in February. Well, recently, in the last couple of years, Great Lakes cruising has been a thing for tourists from around the world. So the 2024 Great Lakes cruising season is now over, just came to an end, started back in May. And according to a release from the Department of City Development, it was a great year for Milwaukee, where over 13,500 passengers traveled to or from the city via international cruise ships. and about 1,500 more than was projected is in this total. So who are these people? That's the curiosity. Where do they come from? How do they end up on a cruise ship in Milwaukee? Jackie Q. Carter is the director of Port Milwaukee.
We started the season with a Milwaukee couple that took the 65-day itinerary on Viking back to Milwaukee from the Arctic. So that gives you an example of how far they can come. We had a ship that had mostly German passengers on it. We've had domestic folks from all over the country, so they can be from all over the world.
Yeah, not every boat is going to the Arctic and back to Milwaukee. Most commonly, it's a tour of the Great Lakes. Lake Michigan's your hub, and they get up to Toronto and back and sort of triangulate, and that's where international, I think, makes a little more sense. It's frequent trips to Canada and back. But nonetheless, there's great opportunity to do stuff when you dock in Milwaukee. Everything is very accessible. And there are excursions, maybe more than you'd think.
We have a great partner with Great Lakes Shore Excursions who does a lot of that landside planning. So those passengers know what they're going to do before they get off the vessel. They plan that while they're out at sea or even before they make the trip. And so they know exactly what's offered. And then all those services are happening right down at our dock. They're unloading, getting on buses, and going out to see our city.
Yeah, so think about it, like the Miller Caves, the Harley-Davidson Museum, right? A brewery tour, just, whatever you'd like to do or you think Milwaukee is known for, you can do it, and it's not difficult to get to. It's very easy in Milwaukee.
Cool. I love that. Why didn't this happen sooner?
It's a really interesting question, and it really is startling to see a cruise ship just cruising around Lake Michigan and ready to dock. So it's officially a thing, and there is proof of concept here. It's working. Still a long ways to go, however. The next order of business is new infrastructure at the South Shore Cruise Dock, and there's a very specific reason for this.
So it would be just east of the Lake Express Ferry Terminal, and the reason we need it is because, again, that right now we're welcoming the largest ships that can cruise on the Great Lakes in a commercial space, not the most sightly place. So for Milwaukee, we are good with our services, we're good with our efficiency, we're good with the customer service, and so we have all that down pat. We're not so hot with the aesthetics, right? Because they're getting off next to large equipment. It's right next to the sewage treatment plant. And so if we're going to really get in the tourism game, we really need to think about the big picture, and we've got to look at the aesthetics as well.
They want a more welcoming site to come into instead of machinery.
And the sewage plant.
Yes. You know what I mean? So the aesthetic appeal is certainly something they're paying attention to. Port Milwaukee previously received about $3.5 million in capital tourism grant funding from the state of Wisconsin to build this. The project is slated to be complete in 2026. Carter also hoping to secure funding in the 2025 budget, Mayor Johnson's budget, which she is optimistic about. They partner with Visit Milwaukee and various local stakeholders in promoting Great Lakes cruising activity. But it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, they don't have the exact location somewhere by the McKinley Marina where they might have that port, but it would have to be a pretty hefty spot for a big cruise line to come in. So it's pretty interesting.
It's a beautiful way to get into Milwaukee, too. That side, that coastline there is pretty nice looking.
And that'd be perfect. Awesome. It's 4:43 on WTMJ. Coming up next, we have Don Mihalik, former Secret Service agent with ABC News, talking about the Secret Service fallout. What were the suggestions? Next.
Wisconsin volleyball has a new home.
It's match point in Madison.
Catch all the excitement of the 2024 season.
Booth and Spreck putting up that Wisconsin wall.
And don't miss out on moments like this.
Booth dunks it down with two hands, and that's a point for Wisconsin. Set Spreck, kill Franklin.
Badgers volleyball on WTMJ is presented by Steinhoffels. Don't miss any of the action right here on Wisconsin's radio station, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, memory care issues. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. I've been in their places. I love how they deal with people. It's about compassion and empathy at Azura. Kindness is at their core. 14 locations from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, 4 here in the Milwaukee area. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's about kindness and care. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies to make your trip successful. Like 10 packs of Grabber hand warmers, just $5.99. Save $120 on men's special buy Irish Setter neoprene boots, now $59.99 while supplies last. And for working dogs, get $5 off new big bags of Black Gold Explorer dog food. Gear up and save on the hunting supplies you need at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
When you walk into your bathroom, is it turn this into this? With our SiteX Creepiest Tub or Shower Contest. Enter a picture of your creepy tub or shower space at WTMJ.com for a chance to win a brand new complete tub or shower conversion installed at no cost, up to a $10,000 value. Enter your picture by texting creepy to the WTMJ talk and text line. It's the Creepiest Shower Contest, only here on WTMJ.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Hey, at Total Wine & More, you'll love what you find this Halloween.
Me thirsty.
Oh, hey, Frankenstein. Did you enjoy that Cabernet?
Oh, good. Want margarita?
Well, all the villagers are raving about this tequila.
Ooh.
And we have it at the lowest price in town.
Economical.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Weather. Let's get to Debbie Lazaga. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
Hey there. Yeah, we're starting to fill in quite a bit around the area. Eastbound 94, just east of Highway 16, is going to be pretty heavy all the way to Brookfield Road. Back on the brakes from 92nd Street through the Stadium interchange. Southbound on 41, backing up from Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol. Back on the brakes from National Avenue all the way down through the Hale onto 894 eastbound. So give yourself that extra time there all the way to Forest Home. Westbound 94, we've got backups from 16th Street all the way to Hawley Road. Northbound 41, slowing from Mayfair Road all the way up towards Burleigh. And then southbound 43, a couple pockets of heavy traffic there from just before Hampton all the way down to Capitol. Back on the brakes from Locust all the way down through the Marquette onto 4394 to the KK River. Hey, be our eyes on the roads. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear, not as cold as yesterday, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68 degrees. This weekend, really nice, sunny and warm. Saturday, 71. Sunday, 74. Monday, partly cloudy and warm, a high of 72 degrees. 447 on WTMJ, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary laid out a 35-page report from a bipartisan panel of former Homeland Security officials and had this stark warning. Changes are needed in the Secret Service.
Without these recommended reforms, we believe another Butler can and will happen again.
ABC News law enforcement contributor and retired senior Secret Service agent Don Mahalik joins us by phone. Donnie, thank you so much. What were the biggest glaring mistakes of the assassination attempt of Donald Trump?
Well, the biggest glaring mistakes of the assassination attempt came down to a failure of command and control by the Secret Service, a failure to establish a clear communication strategy in the Secret Service, some technological issues with its unmanned aerial drone situation, and a lack of effective policing by local law enforcement. Those were the issues attributed to Butler, which were separate and apart to what the panel cited for the Secret Service writ large.
I mean, it was a lot. I think there was, oh my goodness, it was 58 people were interviewed, and they reviewed more than 7,000 documents. So what was really interesting, I thought, was what happened about maybe 30 seconds before the gunfire erupted was what you were talking about, that it was like people just weren't getting it jammed, like everything was jammed and they weren't able to get that information right before the shooter opened fire.
Yeah, I mean, typically that happens anyway in an emergency. I mean, if you listen to the radio communications coming out of any emergency situation, the radios get overwhelmed pretty rapidly because everybody's working off of one channel. So that actually wasn't new as far as happening, but I think what the panel was talking about was the inability of the Secret Service and local law enforcement to communicate on one frequency, which is a legacy issue that traces back to after September 11th, 2001, where the 9/11 Commission had actually said that there needs to be better interoperability between law enforcement across the nation, but that goal has still not been met due to, I think, a lack of funding and a lack of technological capabilities, because it's very hard to put every frequency on every single radio in the country. It creates a lot of problems. So trying to figure out what that looks like and a workaround is something I think the Secret Service now has to look at to make sure that the local officers and everybody can at least be able to communicate along the same radio frequency.
You know, Don, that seems so basic and simple, right? I believe our assumption is that the Secret Service are the best trained. They can properly negotiate all of the barriers and challenges presented with any sort of event. And there are many and numerous, and there's nothing cookie cutter about that job. But when I see systematic failure, that goes beyond one event, right? So how do you get to the point where you have systematic failure with an organization that has to be precise? They have to move the right way and do everything exactly by the book.
I'm very happy you asked that question, because that question also dates back to September 12th, 2001, where instantly overnight the Secret Service protection mandate doubled. And after it doubled, the Secret Service's manpower, personnel, and funding never doubled. The Secret Service took on an increased protection responsibility, an increased protection mission after September 11th, and it was never properly right-sized for its new mission, juxtaposed to the FBI, who, after the 9/11 attacks, were able to hire thousands of agents, dump millions of dollars into their counterterrorism efforts, and became right-sized for their new counterterrorism investigative division, which expanded exponentially after 9/11. The Secret Service never benefited from that type of increase, and I think that legacy is what's impacting the service down the road, because even during sequestration, the Secret Service at times received a flat budget and was unable to hire personnel. So now we have an agency that's much leaner than it was when I was there. There's less personnel that have to still perform the same robust mission. And I have a friend that's been out on a campaign trail now for 4 months straight, hasn't been home, and there's no relief in sight. So it's really, at this point, all the stakeholders involved, Congress, DHS, the administration, and the Secret Service have to get together, sit down, look at the agency, and right-size it with personnel and funding, so that way it can operate almost independently with sites like a Butler site. Mm-hmm. So if there's a mistake, it's a Secret Service mistake. It's not a mistake that the Secret Service has to take credit for because they happen to manage it, and also be able to perform the way it needs to perform in this new threat environment.
Yeah, and you've been a Secret Service agent, senior special agent, and then you were appointed to the regional training coordinator for the Northwest region, training for all Secret Service personnel. So when you see the panel recommending an appointment of new leadership from outside the Secret Service, do you think that's unfair, or does that hurt you to see that, that the Secret Service is so under fire when you've been so dedicated to that for so long?
Well, so the whole call for outside leadership is interesting, because back in 2014, DHS issued a protective mission panel report, and in that report it also called for outside leadership for the Secret Service. So currently, the Secret Service Chief Financial Officer, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Media Affairs Officer, and a few others are civilians. They're civilian personnel. They're not Secret Service agents. And the Secret Service, of course, has a host of civilian personnel in different leadership positions within the Secret Service. The problem with civilianizing the Secret Service writ large is that the mission and job of the Secret Service is very unique. And as we saw in Butler, you can't just pull people into it and expect them to perform because of a lack of experience and a lack of expertise, especially with the protective mission. So you still need that experience base in place to be able to manage an agency that has a very important mission that is very unique within the federal government. So you're still going to need those individuals. The key to me is, again, going to the attrition piece, where the panel never addressed the attrition issues that the Secret Service is facing, as well as law enforcement. And the Secret Service is losing that battle in the ability to recruit the best and the brightest, and then retain them, because who wants to come into an agency and stay when you have a family and be out on the road for 4 months when Google, Facebook, or some of these other companies are recruiting you, offering you the same or better salary, and you can work from home?
Wow. He is ABC News. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so to me, the entire HR piece of this needs to be looked at, and all of the stakeholders need to get together and figure out, how do we set the Secret Service up for success in the future?
Don Mihalik, thank you so much for your generous time. ABC News law enforcement contributor and retired senior Secret Service agent. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's 4:55 on WTMJ. Coming up in the next hour, we have your top stories, traffic, weather, and sports. And also, I have at 5:08 a heartwarming rescue segment. A Wisconsin boy thanking first responders with a story that made statewide headlines, even national headlines. And such an amazing story about this dog that helped rescue his owner. It's 4:55 on WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
An $80 million construction project is wrapping up at Marquette. The 180,000 square foot health and wellness facility is set to open in January for the spring semester. Elsewhere in Milwaukee construction, FVC Live's venue in the Deer District is on track for fall 2025 completion. The nearly $70 million project broke ground this past May. A California-based soccer training and entertainment company with a facility near Madison closed on a $100 million funding round to finance growth and investment in its facilities. Toka Football runs 39 training centers in the U.S. and Canada. I'm Drew Dawson from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This report is sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations right now. Beautiful hotel. thepfisterhotel.com.
For over 130 years, the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee has been delighting guests with impeccable service and luxurious accommodations. Celebrate your next special occasion with a stay at the Pfister. Enjoy fine dining at its acclaimed restaurants and pamper yourself with a service from the Well Spa and Salon. Experience the hotel's afternoon tea program or take in live music with the best views of the city from Blue, the 23rd floor cocktail lounge. Make your reservations today at thepfisterhotel.com.
This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, and I want to talk about exactly what we do. When you come here, you're going to get 2 shots with 2 very small needles. One will be a medication called Toradol, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, completely different from a standard steroid or cortisone injection. This medication is safe and a great pain reliever. The other will be hyaluronic acid, which is a naturally occurring fluid found in all of our joints. What hyaluronic acid does is it helps recoat the inside surfaces to provide cushioning and lubrication. It helps slow down the osteoarthritis process to a point where patients may not need surgery. All of this combined with using our state-of-the-art Ultra G machine developed by NASA has produced profound results. What we do works. And the best part about this is that insurance covers most of our patients' treatments. Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ANSAY.com. That's ANSAY.com.
Hi, I'm Dewey Strobel. When I learned that 1 in 7 Wisconsinites struggle with literacy and that only 13% of elementary students at our state's largest school district read at grade level, I knew we had to do something. Reading is the #1 building block for learning, and our kids were falling behind. So I introduced and passed a bipartisan literacy bill to develop a proven phonics-based curriculum and give schools the resources they need to implement it. Teaching our kids to read isn't partisan. I worked with elected officials from both sides of the aisle to get this bill signed into law by Governor Evers. Because to keep our state moving forward, we have to make sure our kids have the tools they need to be successful. I'm Dewey Strobel, And when Wisconsin is facing serious issues, you can count on me to cut through the partisan gridlock and deliver results for you and your family. I'd be honored to earn your vote for State Senate this November. Paid for by Dewey for Senate.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without any major changes to your diet or lifestyle.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Your hometown hub for everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 5:01. I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's afternoon news for Thursday, October 17th. Your top story, the mastermind behind the October 7th attacks is dead.
I'm Greg Matzik. A new report detailing deep issues within the Secret Service.
I'm Debbie Loziga. Southbound on 41. A brutal ride so far this afternoon from Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol Drive. We're looking at an 18-minute ride from Highway Q to the zoo. So that's an extra 4 from the norm. More delays then from the zoo interchange all the way down to the Hale interchange on the bypass. So watch out for that. Eastbound 94 heavy from about 164 all the way through to Barker Road and back on the brakes from the 92nd Street area all the way through the stadium. Westbound slow out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road, and then more delays from Highway 100 all the way into Waukesha County. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be mainly clear, a low of 43. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, and mild, a high of 70 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the White House speaking on the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
Just got this statement in from President Joe Biden. He said, quote, "This is a good day for Israel, the United States, and for the world." He went on to say, "To my Israeli friends, this is no doubt a day of relief and remnants of similar to the scenes witnessed throughout the United States after President Obama ordered the raid to kill Osama bin Laden in 2011. Goes on to say there is now an opportunity for a day after in Gaza without Hamas in power and for a political settlement that provides a better future for Israelis and Palestinians alike."
President Joe Biden says he is hopeful that this will lead to an end to the Israel-Hamas war.
Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris speaking around the state of Wisconsin this afternoon while delivering remarks about the Hamas leader's death.
Vice President Harris's appearance at a UWM class alongside businessman Mark Cuban was closed to the press today. But afterwards, the vice president made a brief statement on the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, noting the opportunity to end the war in Gaza has never been better.
The threat Hamas poses to Israel must be eliminated. Today, there is clear progress toward that goal.
The vice president will stop at UW La Crosse and just outside Lambeau Field in Green Bay before heading to Michigan tonight. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Security experts looking into the July assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. They released a detailed report on the attack. We have News Nation's Joe Khalil.
It speaks to this culture of trying to do as much as he can without allowing the resources or the people to actually get the job done. They say that would be okay if it's, some local agency somewhere. But when you're talking about the U.S. Secret Service, that cannot be the underlying culture within the group. And they say it's that sort of idea and that mantra that led the agency to be too complacent and allowed for these failures.
The report details several failures in communication when the agency and local law enforcement were involved. It also called out some senior level staff at the rally for what they call a lack of ownership.
Charges filed against the mother and boyfriend in the death of a Two Rivers toddler. Elijah Vu.
Manitowoc County District Attorney Jacqueline Labrie announced new charges against Vu's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang.
Jesse Vang is being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child, consequences death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer.
A bail hearing for both Bauer and Vang is expected to take place around noon on Friday. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
Coming up, an undelivered promise to remove artificial food dyes.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 5:05.
It's Sweetest Day weekend. Just think how much your sweetheart means to you. WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got a great idea for you. I highly recommend taking your love to the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. It is the most affordable Sweetest Day dining destination anywhere. It's big fun, it's big value, and it's a cool place. Your two-piece dine-in Friday fish fry is $4.99. Add $2, it's all you can eat for $6.99. Wow. Your Saturday steak dinner is under $20. Prime rib dinner under $25. Relax with a cold brew, a sweet old-fashioned, a glass of wine. You'll be toasting each other at a perfect Sweetest Day dinner. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford. And this is an easy one, just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh. That's a beautiful location. Lots of seating, lots of close parking. It's Sweetest Day weekend. The Friday fish fry is $4.99. Your Saturday steak dinner, wow, under $20. The Sunday brunch is great. It's all you can eat under $15. Call and reserve your table. MineChefRestaurant.com. Don't forget your sweetheart.
Here's a penny for your thoughts. There's about 11,000 tire-related crashes every year.
Mostly due to driving around on underinflated, beat-up, worn-out tires with low tread.
A couple of clicks at richlawns.com will get you scheduled for a free tire tread test.
But if you're pressed for time, there's an old trick we use in the tire industry that'll tell you if you need tires.
And that's free, too.
My dad showed me, who learned it from his dad, who learned it from someone else way back in 1964.
Ah, yes. The old penny test.
Yep, just place a penny head first.
As in upside down.
Into the groove of your tire. Now, if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, you're due for tires.
And hey, if the free penny test frazzles you, book an appointment at richlawns.com.
If your tires are good,
no harm, no foul, because it won't cost you a penny. Be safe, buckle up, and hang. Always make sure you've got good tread in your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're
due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News time is 5:07.
Kellogg's leaders had promised to remove artificial dyes from its breakfast cereals nearly 10 years ago, but they still remain in U.S. versions of the foods. News Nation's Anna Koeman reports the dyes are linked to behavioral and other medical issues in children.
Now, these food activists that we talk to, they're not saying that now all of a sudden the cereals in Europe and Canada and Australia are healthy because they're lacking the food dyes that we have here in the United States. But they say, look, it's a step in the right direction for getting our children to stop eating such ultra-processed foods.
Petitions containing more than 400,000 signatures calling for the removal of dyes were delivered by protesters to Kellogg's in Battle Creek, Michigan yesterday. The company says their cereals all comply with U.S. food regulations.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. The newest member of the Packers is kicker Brandon McManus, who arrived in Green Bay yesterday and will be in uniform Sunday when the Packers take on the Texans. Bucs wrap up the preseason tonight in Dallas against the Mavericks. Coverage gets underway at 6 o'clock. Milwaukee begins the regular season October 23rd against the 76ers.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News time approaching 5:09.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here. I've got a great idea for part of your weekend. How about spending it with us on Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays on WTMJ? We check in with some cool places around the state. This week, it is Road America. Fantastic stuff happening there this fall.
Without question. I mean, definitely we've got all sorts of great food trucks will be out there, a lot of concessions options, plus high school beer. So it's great to just come out with a group of friends. You want to do paintball, if you want to do axe throwing.
It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays right here on 620 WTMJ.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Julia Fellow.
Happy Friday Eve. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day. John Mercure has the week off. He'll return on Monday. Then I'm up for a week, so then we will be reunited. It will be great. So I have an incredible segment about resilience. I love this. There may be also a bonus one if we have time. Otherwise, that's going to be mine in case you missed it tomorrow. So, Greg, do you want to hear the story about a dog named Gita or a Wisconsin boy thanking first responders? Which one first?
Oh, boy. Geez. Children and dogs, like, both hit at my heart pretty hard. So I'll let you pick.
All right. What? All right. I'll do this one. I love this one. Okay. This one from our ABC affiliate in Philadelphia. It shows why we all love dogs. You have dogs, right?
We do. We have a dog, a greyhound.
Oh, so cute. So this man was in trouble just outside Philadelphia, and an officer was led to him by his dog named Gita, and it was all caught on body camera footage. Take a listen.
That's a good puppy. You're a hero, you know that?
An 84-year-old Washington man thankful to be alive after being rescued by his dog.
Boy, you got a pretty good dog, I'll tell you that.
Keith Johnson was letting his 13-year-old dog Gita outside when he says something just felt off.
I got disoriented and dizzy, and I fell over, and that's when I knocked my hip out of joint and cracked it.
Johnson was completely immobile for several hours with Gita by his side when he asked his dog to go find help. Moments later, Deputy Sheriff Colton Wright driving by, seeing a lone Gita on the side of the road. When he tried to get the dog in his car, he says she refused.
She had pulled away from me. So I got out, was trying to urge her to continue on, and she just stood up and looked at me and looked at the road or the driveway and looked back at me.
The deputy sheriff quickly picking up Gita's signals and sprinting into action, finding Johnson on the ground.
That's your dog right there, right?
That is.
Yeah, that's a good dog, man. I tell you that.
Yep, she is. She's my best friend.
Keith taken to a hospital, undergoing surgery, and now recovering at a rehabilitation center, all thanks to his Gita.
I get choked up thinking about her. She knew what she was doing. I tell her I love her every time I talk to her.
Oh, and the dog loves him too. He communicated with the dog. He said, go find help. Oh, is that amazing? I love that. Okay, here's another. What's your impression of that?
I was going to say, like things a cat won't do, right? I mean, just like put her under that category. Dogs are incredible. Always a dog fan.
I love it. Okay, another great story. We often cover just terrible accidents, and there was one with a hay wagon. It involved 25 children tipped over at an apple picking farm in far west Wisconsin. One of the boys, Gabe Meyer, was hurt and flown to the hospital. He had a skull fracture. Now he's doing a lot better. And he wanted to give a special thank you to the first responders who saved his life. And WEAU TV was there capturing the moment. He hugged a Chippewa firefighter and EMS worker who helped him. Take a listen.
How you doing? Good. A lot of times we don't get to follow up with our patients, even dropping them off at the hospital. So it was really exciting.
All the calls don't work out like that, and sometimes you have traumatic calls that don't end well, and the ones that do end well, you really have to focus on and realize that's why you're doing the job.
And Gabe's mom knows that this could have been much worse.
And having somebody that was competent and was willing to take charge and help us really helped with the stress level of the situation.
I just think he's a superhero because, I mean, he was so strong.
Certainly is. I mean, a skull fracture, concussion. Gabe is still on the mend. He's going to school part-time. He looked great. And so I think that this one from our state had a wonderful outcome. It's 5:14 on WTMJ. Coming up next, TMJ4 Chief Political Reporter Charles Benson.
Mavericks owner Mark Cuban has made some solid investments, but this Sharks miss has come back to bite him.
When Giannis was getting drafted, that's when you passed. That's when we passed.
Giannis going down the lane. Look out below. A big one-hand. Off to Giannis. Giannis down the lane. And he will plunge it through with a right-hand slam.
It's the Bucks and the Mavericks in the preseason finale. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
We found that the high road is worth the climb, and it's less crowded. At Semper Fi, everything we do is done to the best of our ability. There are no shortcuts. It's pretty simple. We do what we say we're going to do because we fully understand that a reputation is never given. It's always earned. It is in our nature to keep our values intact so that when we leave your job, you'll be right there to shake our hand with satisfaction. We've installed massive flat roofs and shingled huge churches, schools, and all kinds of homes from modest to extravagant, all with integrity and pride in our work. And we're going to keep doing it for generations to come. That's what Always Faithful means to us. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
5:15, we're going to get to our chief political reporter, Charles Benson, with TMJ4 News, and Chief Meteorologist Brian Osnansky coming up at 5:36. But first, we go to Debbie Lazaga with your traffic.
All right. Well, eastbound 94 has a bit of a heavy ride from Highway 164 all the way through to just past Barker Road. We got more delays than 92nd Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound's going to be slow from about 16th Street out to Hawley Road. Highway 100 into Waukesha County, a little bit more delayed all the way between Highway F and Highway 164. Southbound 41, still kind of heavy from Appleton Avenue to Capitol Drive. Northbound is backed up from North Avenue all the way up past Burleigh, almost to Capitol. And then we've also got some backups on the southbound side of the bypass, starting just south of the zoo, all the way down and around the Hale interchange to about Forest Home. Hey, while you're out navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear, not as cold as last night, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny and mild, a high of 68. This weekend, really nice, sunny and warm. Saturday, 71. Sunday, pick day, high of 74. Monday, partly cloudy and warm, a high of 72 degrees. He is the chief political reporter for TMJ4 News, a national political correspondent for Scripps News, Charles Benson. Charles, good evening.
Hey, good evening.
Hey, so you were at Vice President Harris's stop in Milwaukee. What was that like? Were you able to get inside when she went to talk to the students and had the rally in UW-Milwaukee?
So it was an interesting day. I was part of the press pool. That's, a group of local and national journalists. So we were going to be in, the motorcade and part of the group of journalists who would get the access to all of the morning events while she was in Milwaukee. So our intention of this day was to, see her in the classroom. I think Mark Cuban, the businessman, was going to be there with her, and they were going to be talking about opportunities, economic opportunities, and just had a chance to talk with students. But we never got a chance to see that part of the day. Campaigns have to pivot quickly around news events, and the Harris campaign found themselves in that situation as well. They were pivoting to national or world events around the Israel killing of the Hamas leader. So we were told, as we were getting ready to go into the room where she was going to speak to the students, we were now being pivoted and moved to another location because she was now going to make a statement concerning what had happened with a Hamas leader and what that meant now in terms of could this potentially be the beginning to ending this war and this conflict, but still a number of things having to happen for that to get that conversation going. So it was an interesting day. We thought we were going to be on one subject. We ended up moving to another subject. And it is interesting, too, when you look at these world events, it was playing out on the UWM campus. She was greeted by pro-Palestinian protesters.
Right.
So this is still very much an issue of what's happening in Gaza, how Israel is conducting that war, and it has played into the conversations around what we want, what our policy should be, what her policy is going to be. So it was an interesting day. So the only time I got to spend with her was for those very few minutes where she addressed the media about her response to this event today with the Hamas leader being killed by Israel.
Wow. And being in a political pool, you get a firsthand experience of what's going on in her inner circle. What are the vibes? What is it like to be around her? What was the feeling? And especially since you were right up close.
We did not get to spend, all that much time. I was with, I think it was a couple dozen reporters, photographers, and things like that. So all we knew is that we were there for one event, get pivoted to this other event, and so we had to change. I also then was hoping to be able to, she has done, I noticed yesterday, she had gaggled, that's when they answer questions from reporters at the Detroit airport. So I was in position hoping that I'd be able to ask her some questions that pertain to Wisconsin voters as she got on the plane here in Milwaukee. Okay. But by then she's already behind schedule. And as you know, she's doing 2 events here in Wisconsin, in La Crosse and then Green Bay. So really a big day for Vice President Harris on the campaign trail in Wisconsin with 3 different events.
It seems like they've weighted Wisconsin here in the Harris campaign. It seems like Trump's campaign right now is a little weighted more toward Pennsylvania. And I know Harris was there for a minute last week. But looking at Donald Trump's schedule here, Charles, nothing official on a return to Wisconsin yet. And his events and rallies are public consumption here through his website. But a lot of Pennsylvania, do you think Trump will make it back to Wisconsin before the election?
For sure. Yeah, more than once. Look, one can make the argument that the blue wall, what they call the blue wall, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, those 3 states have become very prominent. Look, if you believe that the 7 battleground states includes those 3, then you go to North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. All right, if Trump takes 4 out of 7 of North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, he still doesn't get to 270. That's why one of those 3 states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, can matter. For Harris, if she can hold on to the blue wall, which Biden was able to take in 2020 and Trump take in 2016, she gets to 270 by getting those 3 states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So, look, it is a game of where to be. It's a chessboard game. They're everywhere. But Pennsylvania, I guess I keep hearing more and more about that. That's 19 electoral votes. That's almost twice what we have.
Yeah, ours is 10, right? Still?
10. And so, 10, right. And so, but do I think Donald Trump will be here more than once? Yes, definitely one more time. He already indicated that when he was here the last time in Milwaukee. He said he planned on coming here and Green Bay. So there will be more events with Donald Trump.
Okay, so we're also gearing up for tomorrow. Incumbent U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin and Republican Eric Hovde's first and likely only debate tomorrow night. Why do you think the polls are tightening in the Marquette Law School poll with Hovde and Baldwin? She was so far ahead, and now it looks so close.
Well, look, she has been a formidable candidate from the moment she entered into politics. She's never lost an election. So if you look at her previous 2 Senate races, she looked like she won by comfortable margins, given what we see with these 1% races. And even the last time around in 2018, she won by more than 10%. But just where we are as a country, just where we are as a state, just 2 years ago in the race for governor and for the U.S. Senate between Ron Johnson and Mandela Barnes, those were close races. And she's now facing a very close election. The polls still indicate that she's up, but maybe not as much as she used to be in the races that she held prior to that. And Eric Hovde has had the money and the message to try to make a serious run at this. So that's why I think you're seeing a tightening of this race as we get down to the final days. By the way, nearly 300,000 people have already voted.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I saw 240,000 as of maybe like Tuesday. So that's more than 300,000. Wow. Yeah. And I was talking to the chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, Ben Wickler, live yesterday. And he was talking about the amount of money that that Republican Eric Hovde has poured into, all the radio waves and television ads that has really...
Well, both of them. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, Hovde has put in some of his own money. She's raised, a ton of money as well. So a lot of money, as we saw in 2022. I think the U.S. Senate race between Mandela Barnes and Ron Johnson was one of the most expensive in the country. So these races attract big dollars.
Okay. Will we see you tonight at 6 on TMJ4?
No, I'm done for the day. I got my 4 and 5 o'clock in. So,
Excellent.
We'll see what happens.
We can catch up with you. Search Charles Benson on TMJ4 and follow him on Twitter. That's a hot tip. You get everything. Thanks,
right.
Charles.
Yep. Bye.
All right. TMJ4 chief political reporter and national political correspondent for Scripps News. It's 5:25 on WTMJ. Coming up next, your traffic, sports, and weather.
Be greeted by an owner at America's largest employee-owned jewelry store.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie & Fry Water Conditioning. I've got their water softener. I've got an RO system from Guthrie & Fry. That means the water coming into my house is filtered. It's crisp, clean, clear. Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie & Fry. Quality products and services at a fair price from a local company you can trust. Guthrie & Fry protects the water in my house. They deliver the salt. Sue and Rob, owners, very generous. And on top of it, they'll treat your family like their family. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice is Guthrie & Fry.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie & Fry.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Kohler Services and Gadish Foundation. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
It's Sweetest Day weekend. Take your love to the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill for a free dinner and witness the breathtaking fall colors. Your Saturday Sweetest Day dinner is an 8-ounce prime rib with 3 shrimp, 3 scallops, and a 5-ounce lobster tail for $79.99, and that's for 2 dinners. Yes, 2 dinners. Order anything on the menu and your second dinner is free. Celebrate with a delicious cocktail or 100 wines in the 8 unique dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds is a top choice award winner for most romantic restaurant. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine. The fall colors around the Fox and Hounds are stunning. Reserve now for your free Sweetest Day dinner serving from 3 p.m. Come early. The Sweet Friday Fish Fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free tonight and this weekend. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hey, John Mercure here from my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know our climate is all over the place. This means your home comfort system gets quite the workout. Constant adjustments need to be made to adapt to our volatile weather. Wisconsin prepares you to be ready for anything because anything happens. Fear not, because for over 42 years, my friends at Dave Drakamp Heating have lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, winter, even when they all seem to happen within the same week. Whether you're experiencing your next home comfort dilemma now or will be soon, call Dave Drakamp Heating. For free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or just to ensure your system is ready for anything, or maybe because you have a simple question about your home comfort, call Dave Drakamp today. 262-367-2820. That's 262-367-2820. Dave Drakamp Heating, your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakamp.com.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Dave from Feldco. Did drafty windows make last winter frigid? Listen, Feldco's here to make things easier for you. It's the perfect time of year to replace those old windows. Right now, get 50% off windows plus no money down and no interest for 1 year. Visit us at 4feldco.com or give us a call at 866-4FELDCO.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4FELDCO.
Traffic is sponsored by Sendik's Food Market, your trusted local grocer since 1926.
It's chili season. Sendik's is featuring Black Angus ground chuck for just $3.99 per pound. Sendik's, your trusted local grocer.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It is 5:30. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story, the vice president wraps up a battleground blitz in the Badger State.
I'm Greg Matzek. Charges filed related to the death of Elijah Vu.
Trouble now in Kenosha County, northbound 94. We do have a fully engulfed vehicle fire on the right shoulder. Now, they have closed off the two right lanes until the fire department is just pulling up on the scene right now. So be prepared for some big delays heading through that area. Again, that's northbound on 94, just south of Highway 142 in Kenosha County. Other than that, we've got delays southbound on 41, backing up from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43, we've got a crash with the left lane blocked. Actually, it's a broken down vehicle with the left lane blocked just south of Good Hope Road, and that's making for delays all the way back past Brown Deer Road. You'll be back on the brakes from Locust all the way down through the Marquette and over the high rise all the way down to the KK River. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Mainly clear tonight, a low of 43. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, and mild, a high of 7 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Decision, Wisconsin, Vice President Kamala Harris spending the day touring across our state, receiving a sour welcome at UW-Milwaukee earlier.
Vice President Harris was greeted at the Lubar Center by a chorus of pro-Palestinian protest chants. After her closed-to-press event in a UWM classroom, the vice president briefly commented on the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar.
This moment gives us an opportunity to finally end the war in Gaza.
Vice President Harris now heads to UW La Crosse and then to just outside Lambeau Field in Green Bay before flying to Michigan tonight. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
New charges filed connected to the death of Two Rivers toddler Elijah Vu. Manitowoc District Attorney Jacqueline Lebray unveiled the new charges against Vu's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, today.
He's being charged with physical abuse of a child, repeated acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Katrina Bauer is being charged with chronic neglect of a child, consequences death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer.
Both Bauer and Vang will have their bail hearings Friday afternoon.
Do you have a child who seems sick since the start of the school year? You are not alone. Dr. Tim Richer of TOSA Pediatrics tells Wisconsin's Morning News there's a lot going around.
You have people coming in who have been sick for 4 or 5 weeks, and you have to figure out, is this just an ongoing complication of what you had, or just multiple things piling on one another? And
Dr. Richer says while COVID is still circulating, he's also seeing other viruses as well. Bacterial infections, walking pneumonia, pertussis, also known as whooping cough.
Well, the number of middle and high school students using tobacco products falls to the lowest point in decades. ABC's Brian Clark explains.
Health experts say the drop-off in youth tobacco use is a good thing, but there are still too many high school and middle school students using tobacco products. The National Youth Tobacco Survey found that 2.25 million students said they used a tobacco product within the past 30 days. That's down from 2.8 million a year ago. The most commonly used product, e-cigarettes, followed by nicotine pouches. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Another Universities of Wisconsin chancellor is stepping down. UW Oshkosh Andy Leavitt has announced he will leave his position effective June 30th of next year. He served as chancellor at UWO since 2014 and says serving longer would deprive the university of a fresh vision. The university is currently undergoing academic restructuring. They've already laid off 140 employees last January to address a multi-million-dollar budget deficit.
There we go. A new food vendor will soon open at the 3rd Street Market Hall. Get ready for Fonzarelli's Italian Deli. Slated to begin operations in the food hall on Friday. They'll be run by the owners of fellow Market Hall vendor Rod and Mac. Fonzarelli's will be taking the vacant hawker stall space, most recently occupied by Yummy Bowl, MKE.
A Wisconsin winter staple calling it quits. Lake Geneva ice castles will not return in January, and the organizers citing warm winters the past couple of years that only allowed the castles to be open for 2 weeks in 2023-2024 season. Organizers say they're hopeful for a return in future years.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers have Dontavian Wicks back on the field today for practice, albeit in limited fashion. He missed most of last week's game with a shoulder injury. Packers take on the 5-1 Houston Texans Sunday. It's a noon kick at Lambeau Field. And it's the preseason finale for the Bucs tonight, taking on the Mavericks in Dallas. Coverage gets underway at 6 o'clock. Milwaukee begins the regular season on the road against the 76ers October 23rd.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:35. News is sponsored by Holiday Automotive at Highway 23 in Fond du Lac. Holiday Automotive, it's worth the trip.
WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. Hey, gear up for fall and winter adventures at a new Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC. Score deep closeout savings on many, stackable with enticing offers to lower your bottom line and payment. Holiday's Truck Month sale is on. The destination to get more truck or SUV for your buck, more for your trade, while you enjoy the transparency and ease of their simplified buying approach and warm and genuine guest care. It's the stuff that delights and makes fans of drivers from all over. Fans like me and thousands of others who appreciate the many ways Team Holiday makes car shopping fun, simple, and pressure-free. Navigate today's car market with confidence with Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer on your side. Accolades are per 2023 Buick and GMC zone sales records. Treat yourself to a test drive. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday, Chevrolet, Buick and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
5:37 on WTMJ. He is Chief Meteorologist Brian Isnansky of TMJ4 News. Brian, you had a great backdrop today.
We have questions.
I know.
It was more of a front
you
drop.
got Greg today. Greg's here today. What's up, buddy?
Hey, big dog, how you doing? It wasn't a backdrop. It was I don't know what was happening in front of you. But somebody was bent backwards in half doing sort of a crab walk in front of you.
Okay. So this is a display. It's a Halloween display in Cudahy. That's actually about 3 or 4 houses. One of them is like the main base. And not only do they have like these gigantic, the stuff that you see at Lowe's and Home Depot that your kids are like, get that, it's $500. And you're like, no. Well, they got like 30 of these things. And I mean, it is an incredible display. It's called Nightmare on East Vogel. Now that's right by the airport. So you take 794 all the way until like it ends and it turns into like Pennsylvania Avenue. It's in a neighborhood that's just east of there. And it's super cool. They put it on, they spend the money to do it, and all they ask for is a donation that goes directly to the Urban Cat Coalition of Milwaukee. All of the money that they get from it goes to that. So
that's wonderful.
Just super cool, guys.
You know what they also build at TMJ4 News, the meteorologist, is like a virtual reality that goes on next to them. And you actually had like the real thing. Even like at the end of the newscast, you had someone in an outfit walking by. That was fun.
Oh, it was super fun. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing with this. So they have all the stuff that, like the animatronics and stuff, but they have like some kids that are playing the roles and stuff like that. And the dads of the neighborhood, like they're really into it. And it's super fun. It's some really good families down here. It's the second time I came out here with the Storm Chaser over the years, and it's definitely bigger and better. So if you've been here a few years ago, it's even better now.
Oh, I wanted to ask you. Okay. So the NFL is doing like a whiteout thing for the winter. So this Sunday, they're going to make sure that they're asking the fans and they're having the team wear white. And it's not coming down. It's really nice this weekend in Green Bay, isn't it?
Yeah. Opposite of winter in Green Bay. It's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. I'm going to the game. It'll be my first game this year. First game in a couple of years. So
wear your white. You got to wear white.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have any white Packers swag. Guess I'm gonna have to go find something.
Well, you got whites. I bet you've got white linen pants. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's for sure. I'll have to break. Those are my all-inclusive Cancun pants.
There you go.
Those are gonna get wrinkled in 2 seconds. I could never do that. Yeah. All right, Brian. All right. Oh, are you bringing your whole family? The whole fam's going?
To the game? No, just Julie and I.
Oh, fun. Couples night out.
That'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be a good time. And then, but I'm thinking about bringing the family down here to this haunted house in Cudahy. It's scary. Like, I think maybe my youngest, Riley, might get a little scared, but it's not too bad, especially if you like do it in daylight, like a little bit of twilight. I think kids will be fine.
Well, we see a lot of sun and a little bit of a warm up here through the weekend. That rain from last weekend feels like it was last year. This is a great stretch.
Oh, awesome stretch. We're going to keep it rolling too. Tonight, not as cold, low temperatures in the 40s. Tomorrow, I think we crack 70 degrees in Milwaukee with a lot of sunshine. On Saturday, sunny skies. Going to be breezy at times the next few days, up to 73. And then Sunday, sunny skies, a high of 75 degrees. And then Monday, still in the 70s with mostly sunny skies. Next chance of rain, a small chance Monday night and into Tuesday.
He is Chief Meteorologist Brian Isnansky. Will you be on at 6?
Yep, we'll be on at 6, same location. So, yeah, if you're listening right now, you want to turn on the TV, you'll check out the haunted sites.
Excellent. Chief Meteorologist TMJ4 News. Thanks, Brian. Talk to you tomorrow.
Yep, thanks, guys. See ya.
It's 5:41 on WTMJ.
When you walk into your bathroom, is it turn this into this? With our Sinex Creepiest Tub or Shower Contest. Enter a picture of your creepy tub or shower space at WTMJ.com for a chance to win a brand new complete tub or shower conversion installed at no cost, up to a $10,000 value. Enter your picture by texting CREEPY to the WTMJ talk and text line. It's the Creepiest Shower Contest, only here on WTMJ.
Sponsored by Grandview Homes, the name you know, the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
Why trust Grandview Homes to buy your home? It's simple. We make the home selling process fast, easy, and stress-free, even if your home is less than perfect. No real estate agents, no repairs, no cleanouts needed. Leave the mess and the stress to us. At Grandview Homes, we live and work in your neighborhoods. Our reputation is built on 15 years treating sellers with the dignity and respect they deserve. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
At All Right Home and Remodeling, we get lots of compliments on our work. But our favorite compliment is a repeat customer. We get lots of those too. It's what happens when you do the job right and you treat your customers right. It's how my family has been helping homeowners replace their windows, siding, doors, insulation, and more for over 50 years now. Visit us at ALLRITE remodeling.com.
Stop by and visit us at the NARI Fall Home Improvement Show, October 18th through the 20th at State Fair Park.
When is the last time you paid less but got more in return? It happens every day if you or a loved one has Medicare Advantage. $0 copays and an average of $2,500 less out of pocket annually, but more benefits like dental, hearing, and vision. More prevention and screenings to keep people healthy. More care for less money. No wonder 33 million seniors choose Medicare Advantage. Visit MedicareAdvantageMajority.org to learn more. Paid for by Medicare Advantage Majority.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Griffin Hub in Milwaukee. I love the Hub. Check this out. Right now, this is unbelievable, this tire special. We all need tires, right? For just $1 over cost right now, you can buy brand new tires from Griffin Hub. Free tire repair, free lifetime tire rotation, cannot be combined with any other tire offers. Tires must be mounted, balanced, and installed at Griffin. Get them at the Hub. See Service Advisor for details. I know it's tempting to go to Costco or somewhere else. Check out the service department at Griffin Hub. They never let me down. They do it right all the time. And brand new tires for $1 over cost. That's what I'm talking about. Looking for a new vehicle? 250 new cars on the ground at Griffin Hub right now. The practical Pacifica, the iconic Wrangler, the luxurious Grand Wagoneer, and the powerhouse Ram truck. Your compass points south to South 27th Street when you're looking for a brand new 2024 Jeep Compass. I love Jim Griffin. I love his teams. They do it the right way. Best service, best selection. It's Griffin Hub, Milwaukee.
Questions you might hear a lot this fall. Will my team make the playoffs? How much snow are we getting this winter? And whatever happened to Tammy Baldwin? After 25 years in D.C., Baldwin sides with the extreme left. Baldwin voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID relief money to criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. That's nuts. And she supports forcing women's domestic violence shelters to admit biological men who claim to be women. Baldwin even backed puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin. So here's one more question. Now that Baldwin's gone so far left, why should we keep her in the Senate? It's time to replace Tammy Baldwin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
When that crisp fall air greets you in the morning, it's time to assess your garden. Now's the perfect time to think about it. WTMJ's John Mercure here for Landworks Wisconsin. They make sure my garden and yard is in perfect shape. They'll do the same for you. Imagine this. Spring flowering bulbs get planted in October and November and then burst into bright daffodils and tulips, brightening up your muddy spring after a long, dark winter. Landworks Wisconsin, they'll do it for you. Give your future self some spring flowers. Let Landworks Wisconsin take care of you like they take care of me. LandworksWisconsin.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies to make your trip successful. Like 18-foot big game brand heavy-duty ladder stands, only $149.99. Hit the road with Motor Medic Instant Starting Fluid, just $3.49. And 5 quarts of Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil start at $22.99 after $5 mail-in rebate. Gear up and save on the hunting supplies you need at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
We've seen that sleep apnea bully stop breathing more than 100 times an hour. But this problem is solvable, and Advent has simple solutions that have been proven to be extremely effective.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you feel self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners. Just press play.
Traffic with Debbie Lazaga. Hey, Deb, how are the roads?
4 in Kenosha County, just south of Highway 142. We got the 2 right lanes blocked with that vehicle fire. They're still working on that. Southbound on 43, we do have the left lane blocked with a broken down vehicle just south of Good Hope Road. That's backing things up past Brown Deer Road. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Caught up on the green and gold. From the highlights.
His love. Wide open. He's got Kraft. Tight ends running with a stiff arm. Kraft scored the distance. Tucker Kraft.
To inside the locker room.
In regards to trying to get everybody involved, I mean, it's a good problem to have, but it can potentially be a problem if you let it be.
And everything in between.
What the hell's going on out here?
It's time to get caught up on the green and gold with today's insider, producer Brandon Snide.
I think the biggest question, the biggest frustration part of all of this, I don't know what happened to the pass rush.
On Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
This is your Green and Gold Insiders. Every Thursday, we have our wonderful producer, Brandon Snide. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, guys. How's it going today?
You excited
really
for the whiteout on Sunday?
Yeah, it's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about because I was curious on your thoughts. The Packers introducing these quote-unquote winter warning uniforms, which is basically an all-white uniform, and it's going to be in the mid-70s on Sunday. So I was curious, Julia. You're a fashion. You have a lot of fashion knowledge. Have you been able to check out the uniforms? What are your thoughts on them?
I love it. I love a good fit. I love the different uniforms. Every team, I love when they do this. And also they're asking the fans to dress up as well in white too. So that will be really stunning.
Okay, so to Brandon's point, the winter warning is front and center on the Packers website. So they've done this whiteout theme on the website, on their Twitter handle, their avatar.
No.
They got a white theme treatment to everything they're doing in Green Bay. But going to be 74 degrees, and it's a noon game.
So the person who did this is not from here?
Well, nonetheless, I think they wanted to quality opponent, playoff team from a year ago. Should be an exciting game. Houston's 5-1. The Packers are 4-2. All signs point to this being a very exciting game. Players get into this. I can tell you that much. Having been in the locker room, the amount of times I've been in it, players like to look good. They like different. But this, to me, looks amazing when Penn State does it for a night football game.
That's where I was going with it.
You know, I'm curious to see how it looks during the day, like a noon kick.
And they knew the schedule when they announced this uniform. They knew that they were going to be playing a noon game on the schedule. I am a little shocked, though, Greg and Julia, and I'll be honest with you, that they haven't flexed out of this game. It's obviously now it's too late. But I'm honestly surprised they didn't flex out of a C.J. Stroud versus Jordan Love. The comparables, they share an agent. They're around the same age. They're two of the top, tier quarterbacks in the NFL. I was a little shocked they haven't flexed out of that, but nonetheless, it is a noon game. But I also didn't understand, the winter warning uniform in October. Now, yes, it gets cold in October, and we've had frost on the grass this morning, and I'm sure up in Green Bay there is as well. But I thought this was a missed opportunity. I thought Thanksgiving night against Miami would have been a perfect time to wear these uniforms. You're at home. It's the first time you're at home on a Thanksgiving night, probably since Brett Favre era. And I thought that would have been a perfect time. So I was a little thrown off by the time that they selected to wear the uniforms. I understand it's the opponent, it's the Houston Texans. However, the Dolphins, I think, would have been a greater pull on Thanksgiving night. And like to Greg's point, the whiteout under the lights would have been fantastic. But, I like them. Yeah.
They look
That's
good.
really cool.
My first thought was you do it in October, you give a little more run for merchandise sales, but this stuff's been for sale for I think since the start of the
came
season.
out.
Oh, that's why.
I think it's been available now. To what degree, I'm not exactly sure, but they've been in the pro shop. If you've been in the pro shop to see it.
Yeah,
I think they look good.
I have the NFL 2025 draft little polo too.
Already,
yeah,
that
they have
stuff's out.
awesome merch.
They got the pins and the hats already up there. I was up there over the summer. Speaking of new uniforms, a new uniform, Packers kicker Brandon McManus joining the team. I want to gather your guys' thoughts on this whole situation. We talked to Tausch about it. We talked to Jason Wilde, both of those guys from the Wilde and Tausch 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee can be heard statewide Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. Were you guys okay with the signing of Brandon McManus? Julie, I'm going to start with you because of what he had been accused of.
Yeah, I know.
On the airplane when he played for Jacksonville. Now, it is an interesting story. I mean, obviously, he has been cleared. The NFL also cleared him. So there are no more accusations. There are no more pending cases or charges against him. But as a female, I want to gather a female's perspective on this and your thoughts on the now new Packers place kicker.
Yeah, uneasy. And then I read a little bit more about it, and I don't even know if that became a federal issue or what it was because it went over international waters.
Sure.
They were on their way to London, and the accusations involve some flight attendants, and apparently there was a lawsuit, and it's resolved.
It's been resolved.
They said resolved. What does that mean?
A civil lawsuit, not a criminal lawsuit.
Does that mean
so
settled?
A civil lawsuit likely is some sort of settlement.
Yeah.
We can hear from him here. Hang on. We'll hear from Brandon McManus.
On that investigation, but I was been very honest about it, to them, the league and the Packers, and I think they did the research. The NFL resolved it, and so did the courts. The matter's been resolved. So, like I said, I was always upfront and honest about it, and that's just how I was able to kind of get through this all.
So that's Brandon McManus talking about, he kind of broke a little bit of news yesterday because I think a lot of people thought the case was still pending. However,
right.
It is not. So you wanted to follow up with what he said.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad that the NFL did look into it. So that's a good step, and they said that they found nothing. So it seems like it's resolved. He wasn't criminally charged, and we can move on.
Well, insufficient evidence is the quote from the NFL. I don't know exactly what that means.
Well,
insufficient evidence.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. But the NFL is really hard on players, right? Like the hammer usually comes down on these types of incidents. I mean, look at the kicker that was in Buffalo, the punter's name, Ariza. And they suspended him for a full calendar year, and it turned out that case did also have not enough evidence, and he was acquitted of those charges. And the NFL suspended him a whole year. So I think I agree with it. Obviously, they did their due diligence. I trust Brian Gutekunst. I trust Matt LaFleur. But real quick, Greg, for your point of view, you heard about Julia's feelings towards it. What he did, what he was accused of. What is your feelings on the field for a guy going from Braden Narvison now to Brandon McManus?
Just looking at it from an on-field talent perspective, this is an upgrade over what the Packers had.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would also argue that Anders Carlson is an upgrade over what the Packers had. And Carlson just signed with the San Francisco 49ers. I think if you're going to expend a sixth-round draft pick on a kicker, the lease for that kicker should be longer than one season. But I also understand the Packers' plan is far accelerated given how they performed last year. They thought this young team would grow with this young kicker and everybody's going to move together, and in a couple of years we're going to be back. Well, they were back last year, and the kicker, though he started off really pretty good, faded down the stretch. Now, people will point to his field goal percentage. Oh, he made 82% of his field goals. Yeah, but he also missed more extra points than any kicker
5 to be
in
exact.
the NFL,
Yep.
and that's part of the reason why he's looking for a job. I did find it interesting just looking historically. In the world of the NFL, Brandon McManus is connected on 81.4% of his field goals. Right behind him in the all-time list is Mason Crosby, who connected on 81.3% of his field goals. Interesting nugget, huh?
That is very interesting.
He can kick. He's got a Super Bowl. He's kicked in bad conditions in Denver at times. His accuracy over 50 yards is not great historically, but the Packers haven't even attempted a 50-yard-plus field goal this season.
And when you got Jordan Love, you don't need to, baby. Just throw it up to Jaden Reed.
He is better, but they could not have been much worse than they had.
Let's just get it closer to the goal line so then they can kick
just
easier.
get touchdowns instead.
Just go for it.
It's just so much easier.
Just go
Can't
for
you
it.
just
I'll go
score
for the 2
touchdowns?
points.
Come on, guys.
Like Jordan Love said, blanket. There's somebody down there. Jaden Reed's down there. Just throw it up.
Throw it.
All right, thanks, guys. Your Green and Gold Insiders, Brandon Snide, every Thursday. And we have Jason Wilde tomorrow, every Monday and Friday. Okay, if you want to get up to date on everything that we did today, text afternoon to 855-616-1620. Afternoon to our talk and text line. Here's one of the biggest stories of the day. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary, 35-page report, bipartisan panel of former Homeland Security officials had this stark warning about the changes needed by the Secret Service.
Without these recommended reforms, we believe another Butler can and will happen